All right, it is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. And we've got some snow out there and some heavy wet stuff here throughout central Illinois, something that we'll be keeping an eye on throughout the morning. But just to take a look at that radar, if you are following along, we've got a significant blanket across central Illinois where you've got heavy wet snow following. And that's going to be happening all throughout the morning into the afternoon as well. The detailed forecast has that snow, possibly mixed with rain throughout the day. Then a chance of snow later on. The high of 36 today. We could see several inches of accumulation. And then overnight tonight, we got a chance of snow continuing with a chance of flurries Thursday with windy conditions as well. So I will say on my way to work this morning, driving on I-55 northbound, it was very similar to going ludicrous speed whenever you are watching Spaceballs because the snow was coming down sideways like it's some kind of stellar trip through outer space, and going 40 miles an hour felt like you were going 70. Just by way of perception. But definitely not very great visibility. If you've got to get out there on the roads, give yourself plenty of time so that you show up safe. And if you need to check road conditions, you can, of course, check out the Illinois Department of Transportation's Getting Around Illinois webpage. They even have a mobile version, but, of course, don't check that whenever you're out driving. Check it before you go out driving. Tons to get to. With Springfield's Morning News, we got to talk about the latest in the ongoing gun litigation. There are now, to my count, 6, maybe 7 different lawsuits that have been filed against the state's gun ban. That ranges from state-level court cases. We've got an emergency hearing today in White County, far south Illinois. It's about 3 hours away from where I'm at right now. But you've got that case being heard. That's the case Attorney Thomas DeVore brought that has around, 1,700 different individuals. It's not a class action case. It's not something that if a temporary restraining order is issued today or possibly by the end of the week, that's going to be ultimately what leads to lifting this for everybody. A TRO will only impact those clients who paid Tom DeVore, just as with the Effingham County case. So that's a state-level case. But you have, of course, the Illinois State Rifle Association's case that was filed last week, and you have another federal court case filed in the Southern District filed yesterday. And we'll actually hear from some of the individuals behind that case coming up. But Governor J.B. Pritzker was asked about this yesterday before the second federal case was filed and announced. And here's some of what the governor had to say in response to continued lawsuits that are being filed across the states in state and federal courts.
No, it's just more of the same. These are folks who are in the super minority among the public, super minority in terms of elected officials, people who lost elections, who now seeing that they don't like policy that they couldn't win at the ballot box on, that they now hope that they can take to state court and win with a local judge. And so this obviously we're going to have to play all this out in state courts for the next several months. And there's a federal case as well that'll be carried out. But, I think that they'll lose in the end. This is a constitutional law. It's been in effect in 8 other states. We're simply the 9th state to have passed and signed and put into law an assault weapons ban that will save lives.
Governor J.B. Pritzker saying that, hey, this is in other states and it's going to be proven the case that it's constitutional. He makes mention of the state-level cases and how those are going to have to work through in the months ahead. He mentions one federal case, but there are now multiple federal cases that have been filed, including one by the Illinois Gun Rights Alliance, which is a collection of the federal firearms licensees of Illinois, Guns Save Life, and I believe Gun Owners of America as well. So you've got these various groups suing in federal court separate from the Illinois State Rifle Association. Coming up next, we'll hear some of the actors behind that second lawsuit in federal court, Todd Vandermeide and John Bach. I chatted with them yesterday after these lawsuits were ultimately filed and stamped, so we'll get to that next year on WMAY. It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop, now 6:15. Let's take another look at that forecast, where today you've got yourself a continued chance of some snow all throughout. And the forecast has that radar as well, which It's a nice blanket across central Illinois with that heavy, wet snow. But it could be mixed with rain later on as the temperature gets up to 36 degrees. A little windy with 20-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Overnight, chance of snow continues with a low of 23. Thursday, a chance of flurries with a high of around 29 degrees. So things are going to freeze overnight into Thursday. Friday, mostly cloudy with a high of 41. Saturday, cloudy with 43 the high. And then Sunday, the high of only 28 with mostly cloudy skies. Again, right now, some heavy, wet snow, and it's blowing sideways with those winds. Current temperature in central Illinois, 33 degrees at 617 from Culver's West on Wabash.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions, and did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
Hey, John, when you think of the word supply chain, what's your next impulse?
No, turn off the news, run for cover, start whimpering.
Yeah, well, a customer of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World wrote in that they visited the store wanting to buy a microwave.
Something that used to be so simple.
Oh, right. You know what they walked out with?
Let me guess. A microwave.
Exactly. Dick Van Dyke had what they needed in stock, and the customer also remarked as to how helpful the salespeople were, too. Supply chain problems are still a thing, but this customer got the help they needed, and they wrote in to thank us.
You know, a little less whimpering in today's world can't be a bad thing.
This is Dennis Reekin, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. Supply chain issues are minimized when you have multiple locations and people who know how to help you with your next purchase. All we do is appliances, and we do them better than anyone else. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
There are 3 words I always hear when someone from our staff is on the phone. We got it. Hi, it's Laurie from Rex Battery, and whenever somebody calls us and asks if we have a certain type of battery, the answer is always, we got it. Even in those very rare instances we don't, we know how to get it. And if we don't know how to get it, we'll build it. That's how committed we are to making sure you have the power you need. From model cars to real cars, from toys to tractors, dog collars to doorbells, riding mowers to remote keys. If it takes a battery, we have it at Rex Battery. Over 75,000 batteries in stock right now. So if you're wondering if we've got a battery, yep, we've got it. They're fresh, fully charged, and ready to go. Keeping Central Illinois fully powered for over 60 years. Rex Battery, Clear Lake, west of Dirksen.
Rex with a double X battery. Generations of power.
Register today for the Lincoln Presidential Half Marathon. Run where Lincoln walked. Take to the streets on Saturday, April 1st. Your run begins and ends downtown with an amazing post-race party on Adams Street between 4th and 5th, featuring Buzz Bomb Brewery, Cafe Moxo, and Kidsium. Want to help keep the course safe or keep our runners hydrated? Volunteer opportunities are available as well. The Lincoln Presidential Half Marathon, Saturday, April 1st. Register today at lincolnhalf.com.
Why waste another night on a mattress that's not comfortable or supportive? This is Caleb Kitzman with Verlo Mattress. Our mattresses aren't dropped off by the truckload like most mattress stores. At Verlo, we handcraft every mattress in our local factory. That means we custom fit a mattress for you, not the other way around. Stop in this month and pair any of our mattresses with an adjustable base and get up to $200 off. Verlo Mattress. We're not just building a better mattress, we're building a better night's sleep for less.
Save up to $600 during Verlo's clearance sale.
Right now, during the Verlo Mattress Clearance Sale, you can save even more with Verlo's already low consumer direct prices. Oh, you'll find phenomenal savings on floor models and discontinued mattresses. And all our mattresses are made locally, just for you, and are backed by our lifetime comfort guarantee. Oh, but you better hurry. The sale ends soon. Wake up, sleep better, and save at Verlo.
Anxiety. There's plenty of it to go around for just about everyone these days, but the question is, how are you dealing with it? Anxiety can make things difficult. If you find yourself reaching for drugs or alcohol as the solution, chances are your anxiety has gotten out of control. It's time to pick up the phone and call Gateway Foundation. You'll talk with someone who holds the strictest confidentiality so that you can open up and learn about treatment options. Our team of professional counselors, therapists, psychiatrists, and physicians have a long history of helping people like you get back on track. During the healing process, you'll find that there is nothing to be ashamed of. Calling Gateway Foundation is that important first step towards getting away from the self-medication of alcohol and other substances and on the road towards safe, rewarding, and sustainable recovery. Call Gateway Foundation at 877-505-HOPE for a free, private, confidential screening. Gateway Foundation, addiction medicine saving lives.
Less hassle, more travel. We've got connections. Springfield to Chicago O'Hare to anywhere you need to travel on United Airlines. From your next business trip to your next family vacation, United Airlines can get you there from the Abraham Lincoln Capitol Airport. Security lines are short, parking is always free, and customer service is a top priority. Book your next United Airlines flight from SPI at united.com.
Take the easy way out.
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone.
Done.
By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Get over to WMAY.com where you can take the daily poll, WMAY.com/poll. And the question, should Springfield ban the use of motorized surfboards on Lake Springfield? Yes or no? Looks like 55% of you so far this morning say no. You can go vote at WMAY.com/poll or on the WMAY mobile app.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY.
More lawsuits going to keep the Pritzker administration and Democrat leaders at the Illinois State House busy as they try to defend Illinois' gun ban. It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY. We had another federal lawsuit filed yesterday by the gun dealers and Gun Save Life and the Gun Owners of America. That's the lawsuit that's on top of a separate lawsuit filed by the Illinois State Rifle Association last week. That's on top of several state-level cases with an emergency hearing in the White County case that Tom DeVores brought on behalf of 1,700 plaintiffs, including former state senator, former gubernatorial candidate Darren Bailey, state representatives Blaine Wilhauer and Adam Niemerg, 70 different gun stores as well. So it looks like this gun ban is being attacked on all sides by all kinds of different individuals wanting to ensure that they have what they say are their Second Amendment rights intact and not being infringed upon by the state legislature. But again, Governor J.B. Pritzker was asked yesterday about the series of lawsuits, and here's some of what he had to say. Just if you haven't seen this, you can watch this as well on my YouTube channel in its entirety. It's about a minute long, and it's the governor just simply responding to a question about the state's lawsuits having to defend all of these different challenges. And here's the governor.
Who are in the super minority among the public, super minority in terms of elected officials, people who lost elections, who now seeing that they don't like policy that they couldn't win at the ballot box on, that they now hope that they can take to state court and win with a local judge. And so this obviously we're going to have to play all this out in state courts for the next several months, and there's a federal case as well that'll be carried out. But I think that they'll lose in the end. This is a constitutional law. It's been in effect in 8 other states. We're simply the 9th state to have passed and signed and put into law.
And a lot of you have questions about that issue of this is the 9th state to do it. What are the other states dealing with? I talked with 2 of the individuals behind the second federal lawsuit that was filed. John Bach and Todd Vandermeide from separate groups, but part of the same federal lawsuit in the Southern District that was filed yesterday afternoon. And we talked about the difference between the 9 different states across the state, why Illinois is different from all of that. And here is a bit of what John Bach had to tell me with an overview of their case and also what exactly they're looking for. We'll also hear from Todd Vandermeide as well about what sets the state of Illinois apart from all the other states that have the ban on certain types of weapons. Here's John Bach.
Well, we're making the argument that the Bruin decision said shall not be infringed, and that's what we're going after in this lawsuit, challenging the state and the regulation of particular types of firearms that they're banning for arbitrary reasons, and we're going to block that. And then we're going to come back probably next week and file a suit about magazines and attack that, and we'll probably be back with follow-up suits on parts and manufacturing and a whole other host of issues again in the coming weeks. But we want to keep the hits on rolling with Kwame and company to keep them busy and fully engaged. I know they've lost 3 attorneys in the last week, and that's a good start as far as I'm concerned. But they still got 447 lawyers, and it's a shame they can't even pry 4 of them free to defend plaintiffs and Tom DeVore's lawsuits. We'll see what they come up with for our lawsuit.
So again, you've got John Bach with Gun Save Life, part of a federal lawsuit filed yesterday. Just the first in a series of lawsuits. First, they're going after the gun ban. Next, they're going to go after the magazine ban. Then they're going to go after the manufacturing and parts ban. So those are just some of the elements. So we got more federal cases to expect here. But with this first one, while the state level cases have only gotten injunctive relief, temporary relief, with a restraining order in Effingham County, that's only for the plaintiffs in that case. Bach insists that their federal case, when they get an injunction, it'll be for the entire state.
Exactly. It would be for the entire state, all 2.5 million FOID card holders in Illinois, and any other non-FOID card holders that want to apply for their FOID card, get a FOID card, and then go out and purchase a firearm. They would be able to, under this suit, if we're successful in getting the injunctive release that we fully anticipate getting based upon precedential history and the Bruin precedent that was issued last summer and how the courts have been handling that since then.
So I've also talked with Todd Vandermeide from, he's formerly of the Federal Firearms Licensees of Illinois, but now he's, I guess, consulting on the side as he's retired, but still very much involved in the debates around gun control in the state of Illinois. He has his own YouTube channel, Freedom's Steel, where you can get some regular updates as well. But he chatted with me yesterday after the federal case was filed, and we talked a bit about the overview, but we also discussed a bit about how Illinois is different than other states, but even more important about the ideas of how all of these cases and all these players are going to coordinate with each other. Because, again, you've got divorce cases in state court. You've got several other separate federal cases. I think even the National Rifle Association filed a case. You have another case out of Naperville where the individual suing Naperville over their gun ban has now requested to expand it for statewide. So you've got a whole host of different things that are all playing together in a whole bunch of moving parts. But Vandermeide's saying that, this is all, in a way, working towards the same ends, including with DeVore getting the action he's getting in state-level courts.
He's got, 2,500 plus plaintiffs on that. You've got a federal suit filed by the Second Amendment Foundation and Firearms Policy Coalition. You're going to have our suit. We are aware of at least one other suit that could be filed in federal court, and I've heard rumors of another state court action by another state representative, Rep. Dan Calkins. I think Kwame Raoul is going to be very, very busy, and the state should be asking, or the General Assembly should be giving him a increase in his appropriation line items to hire the requisite number of attorneys, because we will be very forcefully opposing any lengthy stays or requests for, I'd say unlimited time to brief this case. We have seen a pattern of practice with the Attorney General's office to come in and ask for 3 and 4 30-day extensions on their filing times. And I don't think that the citizens of Illinois can sit here and have their rights trampled upon for 3 to 4 months while we wait for him to get his act together.
Vandermite also talked about the difference between Illinois and the 8 other states where there have been gun bans in place. And in particular, that's something that the governor keeps pointing to as to saying that this is constitutional. Look, there's 8 other states. We're just the 9th state to do it. Again, an argument the governor has made in media interviews. But Vandermite saying that there's a clear difference here.
Well, he can continue to try to disqualify people who hold constitutional rights in that vein. It just seems to be his pattern and practice to just denigrate people who have beliefs he disagrees with. And the point is that if he feels that the Second Amendment and the Bill of Rights are toilet paper to be, treated that way, we have a fundamental disagreement with it. And I'll be taking advice from the governor on my right to keep and own a firearm when he gives up his paid personal, taxpayer-funded bodyguards.
All right. Anything else that's top of mind, at least with this first lawsuit, that you think is important people need to know about?
I think that when we were, you were just alluding to my visit out to the industry trade show out in Las Vegas last week, and when people were showing the actual language on how far the things with the parts and things like that go in this, they were just shocked. I don't think the General Assembly has any inclination or any clue as to what they actually wrote here, and we'll be bringing that up to the judges, and hopefully they'll agree with us. We'll get an injunction. We'll put us right back to where we were January 9th, and then the governor and the legislative leaders can go about a temper tantrum as we explain to them what we told them in committee, that Heller, Bruin, Catano do not allow you guys to do this. You don't get to just trample on the rights of law-abiding citizens and let the criminals run amok.
So again, that was Todd Vandermide and John Bach there responding to the filing of a second federal lawsuit, and they are going to be filing more federal lawsuits in the future. And there's tons of other litigation that's being filed. It's definitely going to be, as Bach said, keeping the hits on rolling, and as Vandermide said, going to keep the Illinois Attorney General's office busy with all of these challenges. So a lot more to come on all of that, including what could possibly happen today in White County with an emergency hearing set in the latest DeVore case about the Second Amendment in Illinois and equal protections under the law and more. So we'll definitely be following up on that and much more here on WMAY. It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop. You can always follow along, Bishop on Air on Twitter, on YouTube. So be sure to like, subscribe, and follow along. All right, stay tuned. Coming back, we will review some of what was said yesterday in DuPage County, the second largest county in Illinois, and you had hundreds of residents show up to their board meeting yesterday and voice their support and their opposition for their sheriff, saying they're not going to enforce the gun ban. So stay tuned. That's next here at 6:34 now from WMAY.
92.7 WMAY.
Here are the 3 big things you need to know.
I'm Don Howard. Our top story. When the war on marijuana came sweeping through his New York City housing project decades ago, Roland Connor found himself going in and out of jail. Dolly Parton, the proceeds to benefit Parton's Imagination Library, which provides free books to children. Proceeds from the auction will also support the Imagination Library in Sangamon and Menard counties. The general manager of Dolly Parton Enterprises is Springfield native Tom Rutledge, who arranged for the signed copies of the book Dolly Parton's Songteller, My Life in Lyrics, and an autographed guitar. The online auction runs through February 19th. You'll find a link at WMAY.com. Your dependable 5-day forecast is next on WMAY.
How would you like to work for the area's premier multimedia marketing and advertising company right here in Springfield? Well, here's your opportunity. At Midwest Family, we're looking for talented and dynamic account executives who thrive in a fast-paced working environment. Those who are passionate, self-motivated, goal-oriented, and highly competitive. Are you a problem solver with great communication skills? Do you have a grasp on today's digital media? And do you have the ability to cultivate lasting relationships and partnerships? If this sounds like this is for you, apply online today at MidwestFamilySPI.com and click on our careers tab. At Midwest Family Springfield, we offer unique sales career opportunities where you're given a challenging mission, world-class tools like HubSpot CRM, ongoing training, and the chance to realize your full potential as a marketing and advertising sales professional. This is Rob Zavitka, Director of Sales and Business Development Manager at Midwest Family Springfield. Are you my next candidate? If so, please apply online today at MidwestFamilySPI.com and click on the careers tab. Midwest Family is an equal opportunity employer.
Hi, I'm Misty Busher. For the last 8 years, I've been your Springfield City Treasurer. During that time, I modernized the office and earned over $8 million in interest. I'm proud to be a Springfield resident, and my husband Mike and I have raised our 2 children here. I'm running for mayor, and in the coming months, I will share with you my specific ideas on how I will bring new energy and leadership to help our city grow and prosper. I'm Misty Busher, and I'm working to earn your vote for Springfield Mayor.
Paid for by Friends of Misty Busher.
If and you can click, you can eat like a king and or queen. Go to headwestsubs.com and we'll have that miracle sandwich waiting for you.
I don't want the same old thing. I got a craving for a Head West brownie today. Yeah! If you want to bank safe from anywhere, get the app you can use everywhere. Your money's right in your hand. Nobody loves you like Heartland. Get a loan, pay a bill when you're on the go. Deposit that check right from your phone. Download our app and you can. Nobody loves you like Heartland. We're like a bank, but only better, 'cause you're a member. Bank like you own the place. Heartland Credit Union.
Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. Today, mix of light rain and snow for much of the day. Breezy with a high near 35. Low tonight around 23. Tomorrow, cloudy with a high near 29. Low around 19. Friday, mostly cloudy and breezy with a high near 41. Low around 27. Saturday, mostly cloudy with a high near 43. Low around 22. Sunday, mostly cloudy with a high near 28. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
Weather sponsored by Lauterbach Tire and Auto, home of Stage 2 service. Drive safely now.
That to-do list you have needs one more thing. Chill. It's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice-cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang out with just your dog, because you've had enough human interaction this week. Whatever you do it with a Coors Light. Mountain cold refreshment made to chill. 2020 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
If you're in need of care, that's all you should be concerned about, not the hassles of out-of-pocket cost or whether your doctor is in-network. We've heard you. Springfield Clinic Advantage, an employer health plan designed locally with a real understanding of the healthcare needs of the patients in our community. A plan that guarantees you'll never be out of network with your Springfield Clinic doctors again. Your doctors, your health plan, your advantage. Visit springfieldclinic.com/advantage.
Dream Nissan, Dream Nissan. Not your typical dealership you're dealing with. Dream Nissan, Dream Nissan. We've got the ride and the price you wanna pay. Dream Nissan, putting your dreams in your driveway. Number one choice, Midwest dealer, guaranteed financing, no hassle-friendly service, unlimited warranty. Come see us across the river, Inwood River. Dream Nissan, putting your dreams in your driveway.
Start the new year off with a bang
at Hendricks Home Furnishings going on now. Take up to 30% off tag sale prices on all in-stock Lazy Boy furniture. That's right, up to 30% off of Hendricks' already discounted sale prices, not from MSRP or list prices like the other stores. In stock and ready for delivery only at Central Illinois' go-to store for Lazy Boy deals. Family-owned Hendricks Home Furnishings, delivering fine furniture since 1949 on Route 4 in Verdon.
I'm Peter Greenberg, and this is today's Ion Travel Minute. $8 bottles of water, $7 for a small bag of potato chips, more than $12 for a glass of beer? Welcome to the airport retail food and beverage experience. So which airports are the most expensive when it comes to eating or maybe drinking? A beer at LaGuardia Airport in New York will cost you more than $12, the most expensive beer of any American airport. A brewski at Newark will set you back more than $9, and JFK, nearly $9. So where's the least expensive airport beer? That would be Portland, Oregon, where a glass is only $4.33. But remember, you're at the airport to leave the airport, not live there. Please drink responsibly. For more information, visit petergreenberg.com. I'm Peter Greenberg, and this is today's Ion Travel Minute.
Nobody should have to pay for one-size-fits-all insurance coverage. Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance, so you only pay for what you need. Visit libertymutual.com to learn more. libertymutual.com.
92.7 WMAY.
Springfield's news and talk.
So yesterday, a DuPage County board meeting. It sounds like a lot of fun for a Tuesday morning, but yeah, yesterday got overflow crowd, hundreds of people showing up, expressing their support and their opposition for the sheriff there, Sheriff Jim Mendrick, who announced that he's not going to be enforcing the state's gun ban that the governor enacted that faces 6 or 7 different lawsuits in state and federal courts. So the sheriff making that statement on Facebook saying that he's not going to utilize his jail resources for this, and it brought the crowd out. Of course, Monday you had Sean Casten, a Democratic congressperson from the Chicagoland area, and several other state lawmakers and members of Congress criticize the sheriff, saying that he needs to withdraw his statement or be held accountable by the DuPage County Board. Well, yesterday you had supporters of the gun ban and opponents of the gun ban show up and share their sentiments about the sheriff there. So let's go ahead and get into this. As you had, again, a good amount of people show up at the board hearing. They actually had to have like an overflow area for people showing up to voice their concerns. My reporter Andrew Hensel was in that area and stopped by and grabbed photos and interviews, and it was quite the display at 10 o'clock in the morning for individuals sharing their thoughts about the Second Amendment. And it started off with Deb Conroy. She's a former state representative, but now the DuPage County Board Chair. And again, DuPage, the second most populated county in the state of Illinois. She shared what she thought about the sheriff's sentiments of not wanting to enforce this particular ban on semi-automatic weapons, the gun registry, the ban on magazines, and so on. Here's Deb Conroy.
As the chair of the DuPage County Board, I believe our job as elected officials is to uphold the laws of the state of Illinois, all of the laws. We do not individually decide which laws we will uphold. To do so creates confusion, contributing to misinformation and doubt, which can lead to some of our residents feeling less safe. Our system works best when we are all committed to upholding the laws equally. And we will continue our long tradition of keeping DuPage County a safe place to live, work, and raise a family. That is what I believe our residents have elected us to do.
So again, that's Deb Conroy yesterday, the DuPage County chair, talking about how she thinks that law enforcement should enforce the law. But you had a whole bunch of people lined up ready to talk, including those who support the sheriff's decision and those who oppose the sheriff's decision. Here's one individual opposing the sheriff's decision about making sure that the law is enforced.
30 kids have been killed in 2023 so far. At least 314 children age 11 years and younger were killed by gunfire in 2022. Another 1,360 children between the ages of 12 and 17 died in shootings. The Gun Violence Archive said it was the most children to die or be injured by gunfire in a single year since it started keeping track in 2014. If our new gun laws can save just one child, it's worth it.
You had others show up as well, including a woman who held up a sign saying that Mendrick should do his job.
When they wrote the amendments to the Constitution, they weren't thinking of semi-automatic weapons. They were thinking of muskets. For heaven's sakes, we have to do something about the guns in this country. It's sickening. Please keep working as hard as you are, and let's replace this man if he can't do his job. His job is not to interpret the law.
So again, that particular protester holding up a sign saying that the Second Amendment dealt with muskets, holding up a sign saying, Mendrick, do your job, saying that he should be replaced. Well, you could do that through elections. He's an elected law enforcement official, the top law enforcement official in the county. But you had others who showed up, including those who support Mendrick in his decision not to enforce the law to ban guns. Here's one supporter of the Second Amendment.
Good morning, Board. First, I want to acknowledge the hundreds of pro-Second Amendment activists outside and downstairs. We see you, we hear you, and we're so thankful that you guys are here celebrating our rights while we still have them. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. If tyranny prevails, Illinois and our rights as we know it will be defeated. That is what we, the people of Illinois, and what Sheriff Mendrick are fighting against. That's why it's time to come and support a sheriff who is elected by the people, like you said, Miss, to serve the people and to defend our rights. And here's the deal. Lastly, we, the people of Illinois, will not comply. We will not back down to tyrants and bullies. And as the great state of Texas says, come and take it.
So we're hearing some of the voices from yesterday's DuPage County Board meeting, an early meeting, 10 o'clock in the mornings when the DuPage County Board meets, and they had around 300 people show up, a whole host of people who were opposing the sheriff in his position of not enforcing the gun ban, and those who supported the sheriff not enforcing the gun ban. And we have one other voice here that was pro-Second Amendment sounding off in support of the sheriff and not enforcing that gun ban.
The passing of HB 5471 is unlawful, and that will be proven in court. The 2A was created to protect the citizens from a tyrannical government, and it's sad and almost comical. You don't even see the hypocrisy. Thankfully, we have a sheriff who is willing to protect his citizens from our own government. Mental health is a huge issue that's being ignored. Statistics show that more than 50% of gun deaths in the U.S. is by suicide. We need more mental health resources and the abundant access to them. Banning guns is not the solution. Criminals will obtain guns illegally. Banning guns will not change this. Ultimately, it's not gun control, it's people control. You're using national tragedies to push an agenda. We, the people, are tired of having our freedoms eroded. Illinois does not want this bill, as 90 county sheriffs have made this clear. You won't be happy until every gun is banned, because it's much easier to control the population when they are unarmed. Canada and Australia have proven how dangerous a government can be without an armed populace. We will never be like Canada or Australia. This is the tyrannical government our forefathers warned us about.
So we'll actually hear more of each side of this and maybe open it up to your phone calls as well. 217-629-7970. That's the phone number here with WMAY. Live and local this Wednesday morning as we've got some snow in central Illinois. So stay tuned. Much more coming up. All right, let's take a look at that forecast today where you do have a lot of heavy snow coming down, making visibility a bit difficult. And you've got the radar showing that just a blanket blanket of snow all across the central Illinois area, with the possibility of that mixing with rain today. So we'll keep you posted all morning long on that forecast. But heavy snow coming down. Might not get as much of the ice and snow as we thought, but still it's going to make some driving difficult this morning. So make sure you be safe out there. It's 6:51 from Culver's West on Wabash.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions, and did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
John, the price of groceries is enough to send somebody into a panic mode these days.
Yeah, especially when the refrigerator goes kaput.
Even more so. We got a call from a customer who had that problem with a freezer load of those expensive groceries.
And that'll keep you awake at night just thinking about it.
Right. So, because Dick Van Dyke stocks the 100 most used parts, we were able to send a factory-trained tech out to her place to fix the problem before she lost any of that food.
And he wasn't some subcontractor either.
Trained right here locally by the team of Dick Van Dyke.
You know, one way to fight inflation?
Yep.
Keep from having to buy expensive stuff twice.
Yes, you got that right.
This is Dennis Regan, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store, which means you have the comfort of knowing that if anything goes wrong, we'll make it right. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
Hi, this is Rob from Car Guys Auto Works. I repaired 5 exhaust systems last week and saved the owners well over $3,000 in the process. If you have a noisy exhaust system, give me a call. I'll save you some money too. By the way, I'm looking for a quality technician to join our team. If you know someone or are a tech yourself, give me a call. My number is 217-415-5581. We have been behind for several weeks and need some help. And as always, if you have an issue with our service, let me know. I can't fix it if I don't know about it.
It's the first face-to-face forum between the candidates for mayor of Springfield, incumbent Mayor Jim Langfelder, and his challenger city treasurer Misty Buscher meet Wednesday, January 25th at the Hoagland Center for the Arts to answer questions on the important issues facing city government. With moderator Bernie Schoenberg. Presented by the Illinois Times, Springfield Business Journal, the Greater Springfield Chamber of Commerce, and Midwest Family Springfield. Listen for live coverage tonight, 5 to 7 p.m. on 92.7 WMAY.
Hi there, I'm here to tell you a little about this new program called Safe to Help Illinois.
Maybe you know somebody who's being bullied, or worse, thinking about hurting themselves or others. If you don't feel safe telling an adult about the things that are happening around you, check out Safe to Help.
Safe to Help is not about snitching or getting someone in trouble. It's about helping one another out.
You can call, you can text.
You can download the free mobile app, and it's all over social media.
So what do you say? Let's give it a try.
Brought to you by IEMA.
What's the best thing to do with your money during uncertain times? Financial experts agree products like certificates of deposit and money market accounts can be a safe haven from a bumpy economy. At Warren Boynton State Bank, we've been helping people find ways for their money to make money for 145 years. Certificates of deposit, or CDs, give you a guaranteed return on your money. Money market accounts are a way to let your money earn higher interest with the flexibility of a checking account. These are just two options we have at Warren Boynton, each designed to give your money security, and they just might help you sleep better at night. At Warren Boynton, you can say we've seen a few things over the years. A lot has happened since we opened our doors in 1877, but no matter what was going on in the rest of the world, we've stood by folks in Central Illinois. A little extra confidence during challenging economic times. Warren Boynton State Bank, WBSB.net, member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Warren Boynton, your bank.
Those computer replacements and upgrades you got for the holidays really came in handy. However, recycling doesn't mean putting the old stuff in the closet. Take it to BLH Computers. Computers, hard drives, televisions, printers, and accessories, all of it can be safely recycled by the E. Stewart Certified Recycler of Central Illinois. That's also why they're the largest recycler in our region. So skip the closet and recycle it at BLH Computers in Springfield, Jacksonville, and Taylorville, and online at blhcomputers.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop. Weekdays 6 till 9 on 92.7 WMAY.
And we're hearing some voices out of DuPage County, which is Illinois' second most populated county, because the sheriff there said he's not going to enforce the state's gun ban and registry. So yesterday at the DuPage County Board meeting, they had a ton of people show up and voice their concerns about the sheriff's position, but also their support of the sheriff's position. Here's somebody who said that they were a Second Amendment supporter and a legal gun owner, but they want the sheriff to enforce what he said is the law. And it looks like also a little bit of performance art as well.
I have the right to go to a public event, whether or not it is a parade or a dance or a concert, and not worried about some person who has access to rapid fire weapons shooting randomly into the crowd. That is not the freedom that we believe in. Thank you for your time.
As he finishes up, he bows to the audience as if they were throwing all kinds of different roses his way. But you had somebody else get up, a Second Amendment supporter, and a lot of people I've seen comment about this series of speakers said that this woman knocked it out of the park. Here she is sounding off.
It is apparent now more than ever why it is mandatory that our constitutionally protected right to keep and bear arms not be infringed. Yeah. Sheriff Mendrick took an oath to support the U.S. Constitution. Thank God he has the integrity to uphold that oath. Thank God he willingly inserted himself between the 920-some thousand residents of DuPage County and the corrupt legislature and executive of Illinois. How dare anyone suggest that he is anything less than an American hero? We will never forfeit our right to keep and bear arms in order to protect ourselves from the very same coalition that is now attempting to disarm us. America will be secured as a free state. We will not wait for the court's decision. The Constitution ruled on HB 5471 200 years ago. Even if a modern-day ruling reveals that the courts also belong to that same corrupt coalition, we will still not surrender our weapons. Be careful about picking a fight with Mendrick. When you attack him for upholding the Constitution, you attack the very essence of what it means to be American.
So that is, again, just one other person and a string of individuals who spoke at the DuPage County Board meeting. And why I air this for Central Illinois is because I think that this is a true testament to both sides of the equation here and the arguments that we're going to hear moving on, not just here in Illinois, but across the country as well as we get ready for the 2024 presidential elections. All right, stay tuned. Much more coming up on WMAY at 7 o'clock.
From the Fly SPI Studios, take the easy way out. WMAY FM, Taylorville, Springfield's News and Talk is 92.7 WMAY.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Justin Finch. The escalation in Ukraine now underway. Germany has agreed to send battle tanks manufactured there to Ukraine.
After mulling it over for the past few days, and despite public opinion in the country, the German government has been persuaded to send Kyiv Leopard 2s. It's also approved requests by around a dozen other European countries to do the same. It represents a big escalation in the war. Moscow has vowed to take them out. The initial consignment from Berlin, 14 tanks, more could follow. Tom Rivers, ABC News at the Foreign Desk.
A shooting rampage in Washington state takes 3 lives and has police searching for the gunman for hours.
This morning, the manhunt for a suspected gunman is over in Washington state, but not before 3 people shot dead at a gas station in Yakima.
Here, he was out in the community. So it was the threat was never really gone.
Authorities say the 15-hour ordeal ending with the suspect shooting himself. Yakima police identified the alleged gunman as 21-year-old Jared Haddock.
ABC's Mola Lengi. The suspected gunman in Monday's Half Moon Bay killings will have his first court appearance today. Officials are calling it workplace violence, not race-based hate.
We now know there were claims from previous court cases that the 66-year-old alleged shooter had threatened coworkers before, even threatening a coworker years ago that he would cut his head with a knife. There was a history of threatened violence.
ABC's Alex Stone. The Asian American community in Southern California still reeling from the dance club shootings that left 11 people dead. A big storm system that rocked the Gulf Coast is now headed into the Northeast. Strong winds in either snow or rain now moving into the Ohio Valley. This is ABC News.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right.
Y'all gotta try that Febreze car.
Just right, just right, just right. Yeah. La 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 la. With up to 40 days of consistency on low Febreze car clips right on your vent. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face when it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah. Breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean. Of course I use Mr. Clean Magic Eraser to clean tough messes off my stovetop and bathtub. But then I discovered I can also use it to easily clean my patio furniture and even my shoes. I'm hooked.
And when wipes won't cut it, I use Magic Eraser Sheets. They're thin and flexible erasers, perfect for everyday messes, like gunk on my counters and sinks. They really are magical.
The reviews are in. Mr. Clean Magic Eraser and Sheets make cleaning.
All right, coming up, we will talk about renewable energy projects and Governor J.B. Pritzker on whether he's going to sign a bill that takes local county control away. Also, a member of the city government here in Springfield looking for a different city job. We'll talk with Bill McCarty in the next half hour. But up next, Shannon Adcock from Awake, Illinois will join us to talk about upcoming school board races and controversy over speech. And some people who just simply want to have their words heard. So stay tuned. We'll get to that and more. Right now, though, it's 7:04, and we do have that weather that's seeming to clear out just a little bit from this morning's commute, but still the possibility of precipitation persists all throughout the morning. We'll keep you updated here now, 7:04 on WMAY.
News.
Weather.
92.7 WMAY. Springfield's news and talk.
I'm Don Howard. Our top story. Snow totals for today in the Springfield area are now expected to range from 2 to 6 inches. Areas to the south and east of Springfield, including Taylorville and Decatur, are under a winter storm warning with snow totals of 4 to 8 inches expected. Check gettingaroundillinois.com for updates on road conditions and stay with 92.7 WMAY for the latest on the winter storm. Sangamon County deputies are investigating an incident in which a man was struck by a freight train while lying on or near the tracks near the intersection of Camp Butler and Laverna Roads in northeastern Springfield. A Norfolk and Southern Railroad freight train struck the man around 10:15 a.m. yesterday. Police found the man about a half mile from where the train had stopped. He was taken to HSHS St. John's Hospital. There is still no word on the extent of his injuries. Governor J.B. Pritzker has announced more than $113 million in state grants for downstate transit systems, including nearly $7 million for the Sangamon Mass Transit District. That money will go toward construction of an expanded secondary transfer center. SMTD says the planned new facility will replace the on-street transfer point at Junction Circle near MacArthur and Wabash. SMTD plans to build a larger off-street facility in the same general vicinity with covered shelters, restrooms, and a break room for drivers. It's expected to be completed in 2 to 3 years. The United Way of Central Illinois will be auctioning items autographed by entertainer Dolly Parton, the proceeds to benefit Parton's Imagination Library, which provides free books to children. Proceeds from the auction will also support the Imagination Library in Sangamon and Menard counties. The general manager of Dolly Parton Enterprises is Springfield native Tom Rutledge, who arranged for the signed copies of the book Dolly Parton, Songteller, My Life in Lyrics, and an autographed guitar. The online auction runs through February 19th. You'll find a link at WMAY.com. Your dependable 5-day forecast is next on WMAY.
News sponsored by CBD Botanicals. Visit CBD Botanicals in Springfield and Edwardsville. Online at cbdbotanicals.com.
How would you like to work for the area's premier multimedia marketing and advertising company right here in Springfield? Well, here's your opportunity. At Midwest Family, we're looking for talented and dynamic account executives who thrive in a fast-paced working environment. Those who are passionate, self-motivated, goal-oriented, and highly competitive. Are you a problem solver with great communication skills? Do you have a grasp on today's digital media? And do you have the ability to cultivate lasting relationships and partnerships? If this sounds like this is for you, apply online today at MidwestFamilySPI.com and click on our careers tab. At Midwest Family Springfield, we offer unique sales career opportunities where you're given a challenging mission, world-class tools like HubSpot CRM, ongoing training, and the chance to realize your full potential as a marketing and advertising sales professional. This is Rob Zavitka, Director of Sales and Business Development Manager at Midwest Family Springfield. Are you my next candidate? If so, please apply online today at MidwestFamilySPI.com and click on the Careers tab. Midwest Family is an equal opportunity employer.
Online means no lines. When you're ordering from Head West, go to headwestsubs.com and get fed without waiting in line.
I don't want the same old thing. I got a craving for a Head West brownie today. Yeah!
3120 Montvale Drive, Springfield. Where do you go when you want to get in shape? The Body Quest store, the Body Quest store. High quality exercise equipment for your home. The Body Quest store, the Body Quest store. The quest for the healthier you begins at the Body Quest store, the Body Quest store. 3120 Montvale Drive, the Body Quest store, the Body Quest store. 787-9930. The Body Quest store, the Body Quest store. The quest for the healthier you begins at the Body Quest store. 3120 Montvale Drive, Springfield.
Get today's headlines delivered to your inbox every morning. Subscribe now at WMAY.com. 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's News and Talk.
Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. Today, mix of light rain and snow for much of the day. Breezy with a high near 35. Low tonight around 23. Tomorrow, cloudy with a high near 29, low around 19. Friday, mostly cloudy and breezy with a high near 41, low around 27. Saturday, mostly cloudy with a high near 43, low around 22. Sunday, mostly cloudy with a high near 28. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
Weather sponsored by Lauterbach Tire and Auto, home of Stage 2 service. Drive safely now.
That to-do list you have needs one more thing. Chill. It's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice-cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang out with just your dog because you've had enough human interaction this week. Whatever you do it with a Coors Light. Mountain cold refreshment made to chill. 2020 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Dream Nissan, Dream Nissan.
Not your typical dealership you're dealing with.
Dream Nissan, Dream Nissan.
We've got the ride and the price you want to pay.
Dream Nissan, putting your dreams in your driveway.
Number one choice, Midwest dealer. Guaranteed financing, no hassle-friendly service, unlimited warranty. Come see us across the river, Inwood River.
Dream Nissan, putting your dreams in your driveway.
Anxiety. There's plenty of it to go around for just about everyone these days, but the question is, how are you dealing with it? Anxiety can make things difficult. If you find yourself reaching for drugs or alcohol as the solution, chances are your anxiety has gotten out of control. It's time to pick up the phone and call Gateway Foundation. You'll talk with someone who holds the strictest confidentiality so that you can open up and learn about treatment options. Our team of professional counselors, therapists, psychiatrists, and physicians have a long history of helping people like you get back on track. During the healing process, you'll find that there is nothing to be ashamed of. Calling Gateway Foundation is that important first step towards getting away from the self-medication of alcohol and other substances and on the road towards safe, rewarding, and sustainable recovery. Call Gateway Foundation at 877-505-HOPE for a free, private, confidential screening. Gateway Foundation, addiction medicine saving lives.
92.7 WMAY.
Springfield's News and Talk.
Greg Bishop and the Council Roundup.
You know, typically at this time, we do the Council Roundup, which is a review of Springfield City Council business each and every Wednesday. It's brought to you by Head West Subs. When you want a great sub, you've got to Head West. Their downtown location open for lunch and open for lunch on Saturdays. Don't forget about delivery. But last night was not a typical city council meeting. They had a budget meeting. And I know it's important. We all know what the taxpayers' spend is going to be at the city of Springfield. But that's a lot of wading into extremely wonky stuff that doesn't make for a good council roundup. So they had 5 Tuesdays in January. This was the Tuesday that decided to not have a city council or a committee of the whole meeting, so no council roundup today. Just wanted to make sure you're aware of that. Instead, we've got plenty of other things to talk about here on WMAY. Let's talk about the First Amendment. It's not just about free speech, it's also about free assembly, and it's something that this country is very much grounded in. And we've been talking a lot about the Second Amendment lately for obvious reasons with the Illinois ban on semi-automatic guns and magazines. But what about free speech? How is free assembly being impacted across the state? One group that seems to have been impacted by this is Awake Illinois. And we talk now with Shannon Adcock to give us a bit of the rundown of what she and her group has experienced recently up in Des Plaines. Shannon, thanks for taking time with us this morning. Tell us what happened.
Good morning, Greg. Thanks for having us on. So yes, we made national news after the anti-American, anti-child leftists got pretty cranky over our planned Coalition for Kids event. It was pretty epic, and the speakers and panelists that were on the slate for this event, extremely dynamic group. Jamie Mitchell, founder of Gays Against Groomers. We eventually added Jeanette Cooper, Parents for Ethical Care. She's a parent of a daughter who wanted to transition. And now she's raising awareness for parents and advocates on this issue of the social contagion happening with children. Former candidate for Lieutenant Governor Stephanie Trussell, Black advocate, mother of 5, pro-life advocate. Amazing dynamic panel. And yes, these Marxists threatened the theater to the point that the manager had to halt the contract.
So I know I don't want to necessarily level any aspersions on a business owner that is merely looking out for their own safety, the safety of their clientele, the safety of their staff. But when you heard about this, I mean, what were your initial reactions? What was your group's reaction that this venue you had planned to go to have this dynamic panel address some serious issues a lot of parents have major concerns with? Do you feel like your rights of free assembly and free speech are being violated here?
Oh, there's no question. And what's sad is that, Awake Illinois really burgeoned out of this recognition that people are very scared to advocate for their rights, for their families, for their communities. And so we built a really phenomenal platform for people to do just that. And even after 2 years of growing statewide to 30 chapters, there's still this assault on our First Amendment right to free speech. And yes, of course, the right to assembly. And I'm very confused by why people cannot understand that this country is founded on healthy discourse. You don't have to agree with everybody 100% of the time. That's okay. That's where progress happens, is when you have discourse and discussion. But the left, the people who came out to the City Council of Des Plaines and lied about us and spun tales and actually brought a lot of racism and hate and intolerance to their comments, these are people who don't want to discuss. They want to destroy you. That's what they want to do, Greg. They want to destroy discussion and destroy the First Amendment right to free speech. So yes, it's very much under attack. And, I wish that there was more courage on the part of people who are going to host peaceful assemblies. But what's amazing, can I just share with you, is that people came out in droves to offer their businesses, to offer their warehouses, to say, where can we house you so that the First Amendment right to free speech is indeed protected? So that's been pretty cool.
Well, on the flip side, though, Shannon, you've been criticized, or your group's been criticized for speaking out against drag events where adult men might dress in women's clothing, possibly being in front of children, and some events in the Chicagoland area. People point to rhetoric that's used by your organization and others that might support your organization, leading to venues shutting down their events. What's your response to that?
Right. Well, there are two two drag events that we commented on. One was at Uprising Bakery in Lake of the Hills, and it was a bakery that was going to have a drag show performance with minors included. And we posted about it on Twitter and said they're coming for your children. So that was actually an awareness message, right? This is happening, heads up. That was it. We had nothing else to do with any other activities that took place after that point. And then the one that we were actually really proud about, Greg, was the Downers Grove Public Library was going to host a drag queen bingo event for minors in 7th to 12th grade. That's publicly funded facility with taxpayer dollars. So that is where we really did a push as an organization, as a chapter of Downers Grove, Awake Downers Grove, and a large organization to say, no, that is not the place for a taxpayer-funded entity to host basically a sexualized event for minors. It gathered their information, their name, their number, and we had no idea where that information went. So there were a lot of issues with that. And fortunately, the event did not happen. So we're talking about actually empowering communities to know what is happening with this war on children. And that's exactly what it is. We have to tell it like it is. The sexualization of children is wrong. It is harmful. And we're creating that awareness.
We're talking with Shannon Adcock. She is the founder of Awake Illinois and the president. And you can find out more about their organization. And Shannon, a lot of people, of course, as you said, in the past 2 or 3 years that you've started this operation and grown it, it's now gotten to the point where we've got school board races coming up. And Awake Illinois very much involved in trying to get candidates in places. How's that going? And tell us about some of the things you're accomplishing.
Yeah, it's so amazing. So never before has there been a grassroots effort to support school board candidates that are for kids, for community, for academics. And this is where we really launched. 2 days after I lost my own school board race, I said, people need better help when they run for this particular office. So that's when Awake Illinois launched, 2 days after the 2021 school board elections. And now we've got dozens. We've got dozens of school board races that we're helping. We're empowering candidates to know what it takes to be a school board member, what the Open Meetings Act is about, what it's going to take to really connect with your community and to know what issues are affecting them. Is it their property taxes? Is it the curricula? Is it the busing contracts? How do you get the message from the community to know how to best represent the community? Because unfortunately, too many times, Greg, people get elected to this role and they bow to government mandates that, as it turns out, have been proven illegal. Thank you, Thomas DeVore, in the masking case. So, it's important that they know exactly how their community is expecting them to govern and be stewards of their tax dollars. And they're so ready to represent kids and community and put that ahead of the politics and the special interest in the teacher unions. So I think you're going to see a massive wave of really, really good grassroots community members run and win their seats for school board. It's the most important race that people are going to have this year.
Shannon Adcock, if people want more information about Awake Illinois, where can they find that?
awakeil.com.
It's pretty simple, awakeil.com. Greatly appreciate your time. We'll definitely talk again on these and other issues. Shannon Adcock, the CEO of Awake Illinois. What's your official title there? I have to think of President of Awake Illinois.
You could just call me Mom.
There you go. Right on. Hey, I appreciate it. We'll talk again soon, okay?
Thank you. All right, take care. Bye.
It is Springfield's Morning News on WMAY. Follow along with me each and every weekday morning from 6 to 9 here on WMAY, on Facebook, on YouTube. Just search out Bishop on Air, and we can connect that way. All right, typically we have the council roundup at this time, but it is not a council roundup day. They didn't have a council meeting last night. They had a special meeting dealing with the budget, but we didn't necessarily get into that. We'll hear all the budget details in the weeks ahead when they ultimately put that together. So much more coming up, including Governor J.B. Pritzker sounding off on a measure that passed the State House that could take away local county decisions on renewable energy projects. Right now, though, it's 7:20. Let's take a look at Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast, where today you've got that snow that's coming down and a high of only around 36 degrees. That snow could turn to rain with a low down to around 23 with a continued chance of snow overnight. Thursday, we got a chance of flurries with a high of 29. Friday, mostly cloudy, 41 the high. Saturday, cloudy with a high of 43. And then Sunday, the high of only 28 with cloudy skies. Right now, it's about 33 degrees. And looking at those road conditions, some areas have blowing snow and areas of icing throughout central Illinois. Others have scattered snow on those roadways, so be careful out there as we've got a blanket of snow all across central Illinois this morning. morning. It's now 7:20 from Culver's West on Wabash.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions, and did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
All right, it is snowing out there. It's cold. It's going to be wet, heavy snow, and you don't want to go shopping for a car out there in the snow. So instead, you can go to Green Hyundai's indoor shopping extravaganza event of the year. Mike, what's the official title of this? Either way, listen, you're going to stay nice and warm looking at wonderful cars with a talented team from Green Hyundai, Mike.
That's true. It's not about the title, is it, Greg? It's indoors today. Yep, it's indoors, the ginormous auto clearance event. It's an event that we have once a year when the weather gets cold out, and we try to bring all those trade-ins that we've traded for. We sell 200 new Hyundais in 1 month, take about 170 to 175 trade-ins in. And it's a machine. We've got to service these cars. We've got to put tires, brakes, belts, hoses on them. And we put a lifetime warranty on the engine and transmission. And we put them inside. Yeah, we're putting them inside, tropical 72 degrees at the old Shop and Save. That's the old Shop and Save on the corner of Wabash and Chatham Road. You remember it? Shop and Save? Yeah, back in the 90s. That was a big place. It's a beautiful facility. The lighting is just crisp in there, and we got all the cars inside, so you don't have to mess around. You can walk through them, pick out the one you want, and we write our cars down every 30 days. We have software that tells us whether we've got too much money in it, and if we do, we take a loss on it within the corporation, and we bring the car out on the money. No one else can do that but Green Hyundai. So come out and see us. We set up 0% for this sale. So last time you'll be able to get 0. The rates are 4 or 5% now. So that's a real savings. No payment for 90 days puts you into spring. The birds will be chirping by the time you make your first car payment. It's time to take the plunge. I know a lot of you have been holding off. So this is it, the big sale, the ginormous auto clearance event going on at the corner of Wabash and Chatham Road, the old Shop and Save for drive-in safe.
Mike Quimby, Green Hyundai, love it. Have a great day and be safe out there.
You too, Greg. I appreciate it. Thank you.
This is Jim over at CBD Botanicals. So as we come into this new year, I know a lot of people are doing some new habits. They're getting into the gym a little bit more, maybe checking your diets a little bit better. Well, we have that for you here too, from beginning to end, whether it's a pre-workout in the Kill Cliff, it could be in the CBG that I use just to bring down the inflammation. CBG kind of turbocharges your CBD, and it's amazing for the anti-inflammatory effects. And a lot of people know I jumped out of a lot of helicopters as a Marine, and that's starting to catch up with me a few years later. So this helps me out a ton as I go into racquetball and pickleball season to help me kind of recover better and also be ready sooner. One of our top products is this 1,500 milligram topical cream that I created with a friend of mine. It goes well on my skin, and it also doesn't smell like anything. So you're not going to walk around smelling like a flower or smelling like hemp, but you're going to have that pain relief. So come on by, check these things out. You can sample nearly everything in the shop. CBD Botanicals at 2538 South Cokie Mill Road at the corner of Cokie Mill and Isles, next to Walgreens in the Fresenius building.
Hi there, I'm here to tell you a little about this new program called Safe to Help Illinois.
Maybe you know somebody who's being bullied, or worse, thinking about hurting themselves or others.
If you don't feel safe telling an adult about the things that are happening around you, check out Safe to Help.
Safe to Help is not about snitching or getting someone in trouble. It's about helping one another out.
You can call, you can text.
You can download the free mobile app, and it's all over social media.
So what do you say? Let's give it a try.
Brought to you by IEMA.
What's the best thing to do with your money during uncertain times? Financial experts agree products like certificates of deposit and money market accounts can be a safe haven from a bumpy economy. At Warren Boynton State Bank, we've been helping people find ways for their money to make money for 145 years. Certificates of deposit, or CDs, give you a guaranteed return on your money. Money market accounts are a way to let your money earn higher interest with the flexibility of a checking account. These are just two options we have at Warren Boynton, each designed to give your money security, and they just might help you sleep better at night. At Warren Boynton, you can say we've seen a few things over the years. A lot has happened since we opened our doors in 1877, but no matter what was going on in the rest of the world, we've stood by folks in Central Illinois. A little extra confidence during challenging economic times. Warren Boynton State Bank, WBSB.net, member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Warren Boynton, your bank.
You will sleep better this year. You will sleep better this year. You will sleep better this year as long as you get to Just Beds during the store-wide New Year mattress sale. Bemco, Sealy Posturepedic, Chatham & Wells, Arctic Breeze, and Max Life are all on sale. Now that's how you kick off a new year. No more sleepless nights this year. As always, free delivery set up and haul away. You will sleep better this year. Just see the Yawn Exterminators at Just Beds on Montvale Drive in Springfield.
Just Beds. To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone. Done. By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Today's daily poll question: should Springfield ban the use of motorized surfboards on Lake Springfield? Yes or no? 73% of you so far this morning now saying no, they shouldn't ban motorized surfboards on Lake Springfield. Go vote at WMAY.com/poll or on the WMAY mobile app. Again, the question: should Springfield ban the use of motorized surfboards on Lake Springfield?
Listen and watch the interviews with today's newsmakers on Facebook and YouTube. Like and subscribe now. Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY.
You remember a couple of weeks ago, whenever they were in lame duck session, they had a bill that came up and passed both chambers that would ultimately take away local county control of what happens with renewable energy projects. Well, the governor was asked about that yesterday, but to give you a bit of a refresher, here are moments from when this measure passed the Illinois Senate. And you'll hear State Senator Bill Cunningham and State Senator Chapin Rose from the previous General Assembly debating this issue in the Senate just before it passed.
We have a number of areas in the state, the prime regions, particularly for wind development in the state, that have very reasonable siting rules, and we've seen all sorts of development. We have other counties that have much more restrictive rules in place, and that has stymied development. And that's what we're trying to address in this bill by allowing for local input, but putting guardrails on how restrictive those siting requirements can be.
We got plenty of this. If you let it work, you'll get plenty more, but it will be in places where locally elected officials have said, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense to put it there. In one study, the estimated 573,000 birds were killed in a year at a single 51,000 megawatt installation. Of those, 83,000 were raptor birds. Why is that important? Because they're the ones that keep all the other species in check. They're the ones who eat mice and rats that prevent vermin from spreading disease. Oh, monarch butterflies? Let's screw that up too. Why is that important? Because we need to eat.
So again, that was just some of the debate on the Senate floor on this measure that would ultimately take away local county control of where they site the wind farms or other renewable energy type of operations. The bill passed both chambers, so it's now on the governor's desk, and the governor was asked about it yesterday at an unrelated event in Decatur. Here's some of what the governor had to say.
It's very important for us to make sure that counties, local governments, and the state all have input here whenever there is an opportunity for a farmer, a landowner, to put clean energy on their land and to reap the benefits of that. And so this bill simply spreads that out a little bit more and doesn't allow a county or local government to hold hostage an opportunity for a local farmer, for example, to make a little extra money.
So this very much sounds like the governor is going to sign this measure, and we'll see exactly what the impacts of that are going to be. If there's going to be any lawsuits from local county governments saying that this is overstepping the bounds of the state government to come in. But this is also on the heels of Governor J.B. Pritzker returning from Davos, Switzerland, the World Economic Forum, where he promoted the state's green energy policies or renewable energy policies on a global stage. So the governor at one point indicating to farmers before the election that he wasn't necessarily concerned about taking away the farmers' property, and we'll have to revisit some of those comments he made and whether or not this bill that he sounds like he's poised to sign might rub up against what he had to tell farmers back in the before the November election. So some interesting things going on, of course, post-election with a new found agenda moving forward and seeming to have the supermajority of Democrats on board with that agenda and how that's going to be implemented moving forward. It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop, and typically we do the council roundup at this time, but there was no council meeting last night. They had a special meeting dealing with the budget. We may hear a little bit about that coming up with Bill McCarty, the Springfield budget director, but he's also eyeing a different office. So we'll talk about that as well here on WMAY. It's now 7:32. Check that time, 7:33. And the council roundup, when we typically have it, it's brought to you by Head West. When you want a great sub, you've got to head west. Their downtown location open for lunch, also open for lunch on Saturdays. And don't forget about delivery. Head West subs. When you want a great sub, you've got to head west. Now 7:33 on WMAY.
92.7 WMAY.
Here are the three big things you need to know.
I'm Don Howard. Our top story. In California alone, mass shootings have claimed the lives of 24 people over just 8 days, including 11 people killed at a dance hall, 7 farm workers at Half Moon Bay, and a 17-year-old mother and her baby shot dead. The U.S. Secret Service's National Threat Assessment Center issued a report today calling for communities to intervene early when they see warning signs of violence, encourages businesses to consider workplace violence prevention plans, and highlights the connection between domestic violence, misogyny, and mass attacks. Snow totals for today in the Springfield area are now expected to range from 2 to 6 inches. Areas to the south and east of Springfield, including Taylorville and Decatur, are under a winter storm warning with snow totals of 4 to 8 inches expected. Check gettingaroundillinois.com for updates on road conditions. 7 WMAY for the latest on the winter storm. Governor J.B. Pritzker has announced more than $113 million in state grants for downstate transit systems, including nearly $7 million for the Sangamon Mass Transit District. That money will go toward construction of an expanded secondary transfer center. SMTD says the planned new facility will replace the on-street transfer point at Junction Circle near MacArthur and Wabash. SMTD plans to build a larger off-street facility in the same general vicinity with covered shelters, restrooms, and a break room for drivers. It's expected to be completed in 2 to 3 years. The United Way of Central Illinois will be auctioning items autographed by entertainer Dolly Parton, the proceeds to benefit Parton's Imagination Library, which provides free books to children. Proceeds from the auction will also support the Imagination Library in Sangamon and Menard counties. The general manager of Dolly Parton Enterprises is Springfield native Tom Rutledge, who arranged for the signed copies of the book Dolly Parton, Songteller, My Life in Lyrics, and an autographed guitar. The online auction runs through February 19th. You'll find a link at WMAY.com. Sangamon County deputies are investigating an incident in which a man was struck by a freight train while lying on or near the tracks near the intersection of Camp Butler and Laverna Roads in northeastern Springfield. A Norfolk and Southern Railroad freight train struck the man around 10:15 a.m. yesterday. Police found the man about a half mile from where the train had stopped. He was taken to HSHS St. John's Hospital. There is still no word on the extent of his injuries. The man who wants to bring a motorized surfboard business to Springfield is asking city aldermen to reject the proposed ban on the devices, also known as e-foils, on Lake Springfield. Matt Scherer of Surf Springfield says he received a loan through the city for the business, only to be told that the boards would not be permitted on the lake. City officials say the motorized boards are hard to see and hear, while Scherer insists that the boards are no more dangerous than other personal watercraft like jet skis, which are allowed on the lake. Aldermen will consider the ordinance next week. Your dependable 5-day forecast is next on WMAY.
News sponsored by 7th Street Cidery, Central Illinois' first cidery. Now open next door to Obed and Isaac's in downtown Springfield.
How would you like to work for the area's premier multimedia marketing and advertising company right here in Springfield? Well, here's your opportunity. At Midwest Family, we're looking for talented and dynamic account executives who thrive in a fast-paced working environment. Those who are passionate, self-motivated, goal-oriented, and highly competitive. Are you a problem solver with great communication skills? Do you have a grasp on today's digital media? And do you have the ability to cultivate lasting relationships and partnerships? If this sounds like this is for you, apply online today at MidwestFamilySPI.com and click on our careers tab. At Midwest Family Springfield, we offer unique sales career opportunities where you're given a challenging mission, world-class tools like HubSpot CRM, ongoing training, and the chance to realize your full potential as a marketing and advertising sales professional. This is Rob Zavitka, Director of Sales and Business Development Manager at Midwest Family Springfield. Are you my next candidate? If so, please apply online today at MidwestFamilySPI.com and click on the Careers tab. Midwest Family is an equal opportunity employer.
Dream Nissan, Dream Nissan.
Not your typical dealership you're dealing with.
Dream Nissan, Dream Nissan.
We've got the ride and the price you want to pay.
Dream Nissan, putting your dreams in your driveway.
Number one choice, Midwest dealer, guaranteed financing, no hassle-friendly service, unlimited warranty. Come see us across the river, Inwood River.
Dream Nissan, putting your dreams in your driveway.
Start the new year off with a bang at Hendricks Home Furnishings going on now. Take up to 30% off tag sale prices on all in-stock Lazy Boy furniture. That's right, up to 30% off of Hendricks' already discounted sale prices, not from MSRP or list prices like the other stores. In stock and ready for delivery only at Central Illinois' go-to store for Lazy Boy deals. Family-owned Hendricks Home Furnishings, delivering fine furniture since 1949 on Route 4 in Verdon.
Everywhere with the WMAY app. 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's news and talk.
Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. Today, mix of light rain and snow for much of the day. Breezy with a high near 35. Low tonight around 23. Tomorrow, cloudy with a high near 29. Low around 19. Friday, mostly cloudy and breezy with a high near 41. Low around 27. Saturday, mostly cloudy with a high near 43, low around 22. Sunday, mostly cloudy with a high near 28. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
Weather sponsored by Lauterbach Tire and Auto, home of Stage 2 service. Drive safely now.
Springfield has so many must-see destinations when you come to visit, such as the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Museum, Bicentennial Plaza, and don't forget 7th Street Cidery. Yes, 7th Street Cidery, Central Illinois' first cidery, is quickly becoming a destination for their great selection of locally sourced ciders, meads, and perries in a warm, rustic atmosphere. Located at 503 South 7th Street next to Obed and Isaac's and across from Lincoln's home, near great shopping and history in the heart of downtown Springfield. 7th Street Cidery.
If you love barbecue and tasty butts drive you nuts, wiggle on over to Lil Willie's Smokehouse. Fresh smoked barbecue that you're gonna love. What's your pleasure? Brisket, pork, chicken? Lil Willie's got it. And all of the classic sides, like homemade mac and cheese and cornbread. Follow your nose to the smoke at Lil Willie's Smokehouse. Ask about Willie's Rewards, where you get points for eating barbecue. Lil Willie's Smokehouse at the corner of South Grand and MacArthur. Wiggle Central.
For more information, visit littlewilliesbbq.com.
Hi, I'm Misty Busher. For the last 8 years, I've been your Springfield City Treasurer.
During that time, I modernized the office and earned over $8 million in interest. I'm proud to be a Springfield resident, and my husband Mike and I have raised our 2 children here. I'm running for mayor, and in the coming months, I will share with you my specific ideas on how I will bring new energy and leadership to help our city grow and prosper. I'm Misty Busher, and I'm working to earn your vote for Springfield mayor.
Paid for by Friends of Misty Busher.
Springfield Supportive Living. Are you young enough?
I do love music and dancing in particular. I have a very good friend, Beverly. She's my dance partner, even though she can only just kind of move back and forth. But she enjoys it quite a lot, and she looks forward to it.
Oh, Bill's my dancing buddy. We have a good time.
Springfield Supportive Living. Are you young enough?
92.7 WMAY.
Springfield's news and talk.
Typically this time, we do the Council Roundup, brought to you by Head West Subs. When you want a great sub, you've got to head west. Their downtown location open for lunch, also open for lunch for Saturdays, and don't forget about delivery, Head West Subs. Now, all hour, we have not had the Council Roundup because there wasn't a typical city council meeting or committee of the whole meeting last night. It was a special meeting dealing with the budget. And yes, it's important you know how your tax dollars are being used. Yes, even you who don't live in Springfield, you spend money in Springfield, you take your wife out to dinner in Springfield, you go shopping in Springfield, you're spending tax money in Springfield, so how are those dollars going to be spent? Of course, we will be talking a lot more in some detail about that as they start finalizing the plans, but right now they're just doing some overviews. And with a bit of an overview, just in time for the Council Roundup, is Budget Director Bill McCarty. He joins us now in studio. Director, thanks for taking time as always, and what time did you get out of there last night?
Good morning, Greg. You know, it wasn't too bad last night. We did the overview and then the elected officials. And the elected officials, when they give their presentations, they're normally pretty short. I think I was out of there, started at 5:30. I think I was out by 7:30. So not too bad. The other ones will be longer, I think.
Well, great. Thanks.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, those are the departments that are out there providing services like Public Works, Police, Fire, the utility. There's always a lot of questions surrounding those departments, so those will take a little longer. The electeds, they sort of let each other skate, don't ask a lot of questions, and then they, you know, so. And also it helps when you're in a year like we're in right now. It's sort of unprecedented for us. It's the biggest budget we've ever had. We're in the best financial condition we've ever been in, and for someone like you, I mentioned to you off air, it's really interesting that you're interviewing me about this because you've been interviewing me in the 12 years that I've been at the city. Right. You've seen the lows, and there have been some low lows.
I've seen the lows, I've seen the highs, I've seen the COVID. I've seen it all.
Yeah.
And it's pretty remarkable. I mean, you span over 2 different administrations. You were with the Houston administration. Now you're with the Langfelder administration. I think that in itself is somewhat of a testament of your handling of the budget situation and your ability to take a look at these numbers and respond to constituents, including elected officials. But let's get into it. You said it's the largest spending plan in city history. By how much? And what is that overall number that you're proposing?
And we're going to focus on the corporate fund here just to keep it simplistic. That's the fund that pays, that's our general fund. It pays for police, pays for fire, public works, the things that people are most associate with city services, you know, the things they care the most about. We're not going to get into the other 40 plus funds, but so let's just keep it focused on that. And yes, it is. We have a budget this year of $195 million. That is what has been proposed. Now, in a typical year, say pre-pandemic, the budget was around $130 million.
Whoa,
just to give you an idea of the differential between what we've introduced here versus what it normally is.
I mean, that's a 30. How much was the difference? 130 versus 190?
Pre-pandemic is 130. If you take that normal 130, what we call a maintenance or status quo budget, this year that portion's about 142. So there is obviously some growth from year to year with salaries and everything else, especially when you consider people, personal services, and benefits are normally about 8% drive that budget.
Just inflation itself, I would imagine.
Inflation, you have some of that on top of it, obviously, as well. So, yeah, you're 100% correct about that. But a lot of it is really the federal stimulus that has happened. It is not just directly to the city. You know, we got $33.8 million in ARPA funds. So 20-some million of that 195 is that federal ARPA, those federal ARPA dollars. The other thing is you have the federal stimulus into the economy, Greg, and for someone like you who's been around talking to me about this stuff for 12 years now. You understand sales tax and income taxes are two of our biggest sources. Well, think about what the federal government did. They infused all this money into the pockets of the consumer, and they went out and they spent it, especially since they couldn't travel or do anything else. They just went out and started buying stuff, and they've continued to do that over the last couple of years. So we saw a pretty significant influx of extra sales tax dollars coming in from that happening. We also saw extra income tax coming in because things like even increase in unemployment. I know a lot of people don't know it, but unemployment's taxable.
It is.
So when you increase it by 25 or 50%, guess what? Your income tax goes up too. So we've been fortunate to have that. Then the third rung of that ladder is the simple fact that, as you know, we inherited, I say we, myself and Mayor Houston, like you said, was my first boss, and now Mayor Langfelder. We all inherited quite a mess after the Great Recession. The city was broke. And just to give you some numbers, and I know that we focused on these over the years, so I think you can appreciate these numbers. So in 2010, which is about the worst of the Great Recession or right after it, we had end-of-year cash. Okay, that's the money in our bank account, right, at the end of the year on the last day. It was negative $9.7 million on the last day of the year in 2010.
I do remember.
You remember that?
Remember
us talking about that?
I remember because the council roundup, and I still do this with the treasurer's report. We air it just to kind of give a sense of where we're at. And I do like how Treasurer Busher separates the ARPA dollars that are still on hand, which we'll talk about in a bit. But even back then, 12 years ago, when I started doing the council roundup, it was always fascinating to hear the negative cash balance and hearing it change from week to week, from month to month. And then eventually it became, a positive cash balance. And then all of a sudden it turns into we've got the highest cash balance we've ever had in the city's history. So, yeah, it's been an interesting arc there.
Right. And, going from negative 9.7, and I remember you and Ray, when he was here, always asking me, how the heck do you have negative cash? How do you operate? Well, the answer is you passively borrow from other funds that are sharing the same bank account. And that's what the city was doing. In 2010, we had that negative 9.7. The average daily balance that year, which is the average amount in the bank every single working day, was negative 4.1. We had 209 days of negative cash out of about 260 working days in 2010. And our fund balance, which is basically our reserves, that was only $2.6 million. Fast forward to this year, that end-of-year cash has gone from negative 9.7 million to a positive 42 million. Expected at the end of the year.
What?
Our average daily balance has gone from a negative 4.1 million to a positive expected $38 million on average every day. And this doesn't include ARPA dollars, by the way. I want to make that clear. Wow. That does not include. And that fund balance, the all-important fund balance, which is the key metric for the city and its financial health, we've gone from $2.6 million in 2010 to an expected almost $60 million at the end of the current fiscal year. And we've done that how? Well, we got some of the federal stimulus. There's no doubt about that. But we've been cutting costs. Our headcount has gone down over 300 positions since 2010. We've consolidated city functions. You and I have talked, I think, many times about the garage consolidation, which continues to really be the gold standard in our consolidation and functional operational improvements. Because if you think about it, we went from 5 different garages with 4 different groups, union groups in different locations, management, redundant parts rooms, all of that. We're down to 1 operation. We've gone down from 50 people to 23, 1 management, 1 parts room, 1 building. We are saving over $3 million alone just on that 1 functional consolidation. And we've been doing that in other areas as well. Those types of things, that fiscal discipline, along with, as we've talked about before, having to get just a little more tougher with our wage increases, trying to keep those under control and things like that, more in line with CPI. Those things combined, that fiscal discipline has saved a lot of money over the years. It's now put us in this position where this year everything's come together so that we can do things that we've needed to do for a long, long time. In some cases, decades, like build badly needed firehouses. And
the firehouses, the infrastructure,
equipment is
things that
one.
People drive over every day. Yeah, keeping equipment up to date. Bill McCarty joining us as the City of Springfield Budget Director. You've seen it all. You've seen the negative cash balances. You've seen the state's not paying its bills for for
my
2.5 years.
2018.
The budget impasse.
Yes, that was tough.
You've experienced the pandemic, then the flush of cash from the federal government and how to manage that. So a lot of change you've experienced over the time. I do want to talk just briefly, though, about you know the driving factors of employment costs. But something that people don't necessarily drive over every day and see every day is that pension debt.
Yes.
What's the plan with that, and how are we doing on the unfunded liability? And is it possible to take some of that reserves that you now have on hand and throw like one-time lump payments just to try to get that under control?
Well, Greg, actually, this budget has that. Last year's budget, the current year we're in right now, we added a couple of extra $1 million in pension payments. The budget that's been proposed has another $1 million per pension fund, police and fire. And then on top of that, the city council and the mayor instituted a few years ago a couple of automatic mechanisms to put extra money into the pensions. One is half of the 3% cannabis sales tax goes to those pension obligations. The other thing is anytime our fund balance finishes over 20%, a 0.25% of the pilot payment we get from the utility, which is about $600,000, give or take, also goes into those pension funds. So all in, this coming year, we will end up putting in an extra $3 million into the pension funds over and above the required contributions that we have to make. And you are absolutely right. We've been talking about pension from day one. That is the single, I said it last night at the hearing, that is the single biggest driver of our expense and concern now and into the future. I always do in the hearing this chart that kind of shows the ramp, and I don't know if your viewers can see that or not.
Hold that up. Yeah, sure.
Anyway, this always is my last slide before the summary.
keep holding that up.
So if you see that, I've got some stuff written on it. But the bottom line is, in that 8 there that you see, that is the extra total the pension payments. That's this red area this year. So if you look at the red area, it shows that we have to average $16.7 million over property taxes. So our property tax estimates are the blue.
Yeah.
The red is what we are going to have to put in over that. And these numbers are all updated. And that means we have to take from other areas to do that. We have to take income tax. We have to take sales tax, stuff that funds police, stuff that's funds public works and fire. We have to take from that area, and that's the big concern is we're going to be sacrificing potentially or cannibalizing city services just to make our required pension payments.
Now, this is all the time we've got, but what can the State House do? They've, of course, got their new session starting. Can the State House do anything to help alleviate some of this?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a few things the State House can do. Number one, they could lower the funding requirement from 90% to, say, 80%. That has been proposed a couple of times. It hasn't gone anywhere. Back in 2011, when the state did Tier 2, they did lower the percentage of funding requirement from 100 to 90 because you're never going to need that much. Nobody's ever going to retire all at the same time. So it's really silly to have that kind of funding sitting there when you can be funding operations.
I will say, though, fiduciary experts that I've seen report elsewhere say 90% is not the threshold. It needs to be 100%.
Well, the accountants will tell you that. They absolutely will. I've got accountants at work that tell me that. And I just tell them that, well, I've got to fund police. I've got to fund fire. I've got to fund public works. People want their streets. They'd rather have money going towards being protected and having their streets paved and sidewalks done rather than employee benefits. But it's important we do both. That's what's key is we have to find a way to do both, and that's what we've been doing at the city. The other thing the state can do, Greg, is there has been talk, and there's actually a little more legs to it, potentially extending the ramp out. Now, as I said last night at the meeting, if the state does that, that could theoretically lower our payments right now. We'll pay more in the long run. My recommendation to council and the mayor would be to keep flat at the very least where we're at the level we're at now, even though we could pay millions less, so that we can flatten that curve, get it paid down more quickly, pay less interest. It's kind of like having a 30-year mortgage, but paying on it like it's a 20-year mortgage. That would be my recommendation. That would go a long way into alleviating the pressure that we have at the city of Springfield and pensions.
Budget Director Bill McCarty, always a pleasure talking with you, and we'll talk about the budget some more as the pieces start coming together, and we'll also talk about the election in April as well. And just a note, you are running for treasurer. We're not going to talk about that now, but we will talk about that in the future. Greatly appreciated as always. We'll talk soon.
All right. Thanks, Craig. Appreciate it.
Yep. Springfield's Morning News on WMAY. Not the council roundup, but still got some council action in there. It's now 7:54 from Culver's West on Wabash.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions. And did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
It's the time of year when the best part of your day might very well be getting out of the weather and getting into your nice, comfortable home. But is your home as comfortable as it could be? It can be with MB Heating and Cooling. First of all, a service agreement with MB Heating and Cooling makes sure that your furnace is working at peak capacity and optimum performance. You save money, you extend the life of your equipment, all at big savings. You can find out more about service agreements at mb-heating.com. But don't forget about the other services MB offers, like a humidifier. As part of your heating system, it would make a huge difference in indoor air quality and comfort. You can ask the team at MB about one when you schedule your service appointment. And maybe it's time for a new furnace all the way around. If your furnace is old and tired and not as efficient as it should be, it's time for a new one. Talk to the folks at MB Heating and Cooling. Again, you can go to mb-heating.com or call 217-544-HEAT, 217-544-4328.
The fastest way to head west heaven? Order online and your sub masterpiece will be waiting. HeadWestSubs.com.
I don't want the same old thing. I got a craving for a Head West brownie today. Yeah!
Why waste another night on a mattress that's not comfortable or supportive? This is Caleb Kitzman with Verlo Mattress. Our mattresses aren't dropped off by the truckload like most mattress stores. At Verlo, we handcraft every mattress in our local factory. That means we custom fit a mattress for you, not the other way around. Stop in this month and pair any of our mattresses with an adjustable base and get up to $200 off. Verlo Mattress. We're not just building a better mattress, we're building a better night's sleep for less.
Save up to $600 during Verlo's clearance sale.
Right now, during the Verlo Mattress Clearance Sale, you can save even more with Verlo's already low consumer direct prices. Oh, you'll find phenomenal savings on floor models and discontinued mattresses. And all our mattresses are made locally, just for you, and are backed by our lifetime comfort guarantee. Oh, but you'd better hurry. The sale ends soon. Wake up, sleep better, and save at Verlo.
What's the best thing to do with your money during uncertain times? Financial experts agree products like certificates of deposit and money market accounts can be a safe haven from a bumpy economy. At Warren Boynton State Bank, we've been helping people find ways for their money to make money for 145 years. Certificates of deposit, or CDs, give you a guaranteed return on your money. Money market accounts are a way to let your money earn higher interest with the flexibility of a checking account. These are just two options we have at Warren Boynton, each designed to give your money security, and they just might help you sleep better at night. At Warren Boynton, you can say we've seen a few things over the years. A lot has happened since we opened our doors in 1877, but no matter what was going on in the rest of the world, we've stood by folks in Central Illinois. A little extra confidence during challenging economic times. Warren Boynton State Bank, WBSB.net, member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Warren Boynton, your bank.
Hey, John, when you think of the word supply chain, what's your next impulse?
No, turn off the news, run for cover, start whimpering.
Yeah, well, a customer of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World wrote in that they visited the store wanting to buy a microwave.
Something that used to be so simple.
Oh, right. You know what they walked out with?
Let me guess. A microwave.
Exactly. Dick Van Dyke had what they needed in stock, and the customer also remarked as to how helpful the salespeople were, too. Supply chain problems are still a thing, but this customer got the help they needed, and they wrote in to thank us.
You know, a little less whimpering in today's world can't be a bad thing.
This is Dennis Reekin, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. Supply chain issues are minimized when you have multiple locations and people who know how to help you with your next purchase. All we do is appliances, and we do them better than anyone else. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone.
Done.
By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
All right, coming up, we have another half hour left. Of course, Wednesdays, we're done at 8:30 as full disclosure comes in with Jim Leach and the Better Government Association. But we'll talk next up about the doomsday clock, about what's going on over in Washington, D.C., and more documents being found. This time, Vice President Mike Pence being found with classified documents. What is going on over there? And also the Springfield Business Journal with Business in the 217, just some of what's coming up here on WMAY. Don't forget, you can also find these and more conversations on my YouTube channel. Just search Bishop on Air and you'll be able to connect that way. Also on Twitter, stay up to date with the latest. Bishop on Air. It's coming up now on 8 o'clock on WMAY with that snow continuing to come down.
From the Fly SPI Studios, take the easy way out. WMAY FM, Taylorville, Springfield's news and talk is 92.7 WMAY.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Justin Finch. A big winter storm slamming Texas and now headed into the Ohio Valley and further into the Northeast. ABC's Jim Ryan with more on the damage in Houston.
The worst of the storm missed downtown Houston, but landed on top of the suburb of Pasadena.
I was just watching out the window like the rain was coming. Oh, okay, it's raining. And then all of a sudden, that was it. It hit.
That woman was in an RV when the tornado touched down.
The windows are all blown out on the other side. My husband and I crawled into the bedroom.
They both came out of the twister unhurt.
We're okay. We just got to find a place to stay now because, like I said, this is our home.
Despite heavy damage to some buildings, no serious injuries were reported from the Pasadena twister. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
After hesitating 4 weeks, the German government has agreed to send Leopard 2 tanks to Ukraine. Germany also says it will approve requests by other countries to do the same. The latest high-ranking official found with classified documents in his home, former Vice President Mike Pence.
We still don't know what is in this material found at Pence's house or how any of it got there, but with each revelation, there are now growing questions about whether this whole system for how classified documents are handled needs to be overhauled. We have pressed the White House on this, and for now, they're declining to comment.
ABC senior White House correspondent Mary Bruce. First court appearance today for the suspected gunman in the Half Moon Bay mass shooting. He killed 7 people in what police say was a workplace shooting, not race-based violence. A grim task now finished in Monterey Park, California.
Officials identifying all 11 victims, 6 women and 5 men ranging in age from 57 to 76 years old, including 68-year-old Valentino Alvaro, whose family called his death a, quote, heart-shattering tragedy, saying he was a loving father and grandfather who loved dancing. He reportedly planned to retire in the coming year.
This is ABC News.
You've got advanced prostate cancer, but you're not waiting around. You want straight talk, the facts about Orgovix.
Orgovix Relagolix 120 milligram prescription tablets is a treatment for adults with advanced prostate cancer. Fact: Orgovix is a different kind of androgen deprivation therapy treatment, a pill, not an injection. Orgovix may cause serious side effects, including a heart condition called QT prolongation. Tell your doctor right away if you feel dizzy, faint, have a racing or pounding heart, or chest pain. Orgovix can cause harm to an unborn baby or miscarriage. Use birth control during treatment and for 2 weeks after Orgovix treatment. The most common side effects include hot flushes, increased blood sugar and blood fat levels, muscle and joint pain, decreased blood hemoglobin levels, increased liver enzymes, tiredness, constipation, and diarrhea. Other side effects include weight gain, decreased sex drive, and erectile function problems. Orgovix may cause infertility. Talk to your doctor if infertility is a concern for you.
Go with Orgovix. Ask your doctor. For more facts, visit gowiththefacts.com.
From classified documents being found at former Vice President Mike Pence's house to the new House Speaker, Kevin McCarthy, blasting the former chair of the Intel Committee, Adam Schiff, and also the Doomsday Clock. Just some of what we'll talk about next. Also, in the next half hour, we'll get to Business in the 217 with the Springfield Business Journal. That's here on WMAY, now 8:03.
News.
Weather.
92.7 WMAY. Springfield's news and talk.
I'm Don Howard. Our top story: Sangamon County deputies are investigating an incident in which a man was struck by a freight train while lying on or near tracks near the intersection of Camp Butler and Laverna Roads in northeastern Springfield. A Norfolk and Southern Railroad freight train struck the man around 10:15 a.m. yesterday. Police found the man about a half a mile from where the train had stopped. He was taken to HSHS St. John's Hospital. There's still no word on the extent of his injuries. The man who wants to bring a motorized surfboard business to Springfield is asking city aldermen to reject a proposed ban on the devices, also known as e-foils, on Lake Springfield. Matt Scherer of Surf Springfield says he received a loan through the city for the business, only to be told that the boards would not be permitted on the lake. City officials say the motorized boards are hard to see and hear, while Scherer insists that the board's no more dangerous than other personal watercraft like jet skis, which are allowed on the lake. Aldermen will consider the ordinance next week. After winning a temporary restraining order in Effingham County against the state's new assault weapons ban, attorney Thomas DeVore has filed a second lawsuit. Last week's ruling only applies to roughly 860 people and 4 gun shops. The new lawsuit, filed in White County, involves 1,600 plaintiffs, including former candidate for governor Darren Bailey, state lawmakers Alan Niemerg and Blaine Wilhauer, and more than 60 gun shops. Meanwhile, Attorney General Kwame Raoul has filed a formal appeal of last week's ruling in an effort to reinstate the ban across the state. The United Way of Central Illinois will be auctioning items autographed by entertainer Dolly Parton, the proceeds to benefit Parton's Imagination Library, which provides free books to children. Proceeds from the auction will also support the Imagination Library in Sangamon and Menard counties. The general manager of Dolly Parton Enterprises is Springfield native Tom Rutledge, who arranged for the signed copies of the book, Dolly Parton's Songteller, and an autographed guitar. The online auction runs through February 19th. You'll find a link at WMAY.com. Your dependable 5-day forecast is next on WMAY.
Dream Nissan, Dream Nissan.
Not your typical dealership you're dealing with.
Dream Nissan, Dream Nissan.
We've got the ride and the price you want to pay.
Dream Nissan, putting your dreams in your driveway.
Number one choice, Midwest dealer, guaranteed financing, no hassle-friendly service, unlimited warranty. Come see us across the river, Inwood River.
Dream Nissan, putting your dreams in your driveway.
If you're in need of care, that's all you should be concerned about, not the hassles of out-of-pocket cost or whether your doctor is in network. We've heard you. Springfield Clinic Advantage, an employer health plan designed locally with a real understanding of the healthcare needs of the patients in our community. A plan that guarantees you'll never be out of network with your Springfield Clinic doctors again. Your doctors, your health plan, your advantage. Visit springfieldclinic.com/advantage.
Step away from the hectic pace of life for 30 seconds and let me tell you about Elkhart Station. You'll find Elkhart Station located in the heart of Elkhart, Illinois, where nostalgia meets small-town charm. Search the fun and unique handcrafted products and everyday necessities, including food and beverages from the state of Illinois. Let your taste buds decide which of the local beer, wine, and crafted spirits are the best in the tasting room experience. For more information, visit conshg.com.
Need to update your furniture? Menards has the furniture you need in stock. Plus, you get a free rug. That's right. Buy any upholstered living room furniture at $299 or more and get a free 5x7 area rug. That's $149.99 in savings. Need a new chair? How about a sectional, a new recliner, or love seat? Buy one today, get a free rug. Hurry up, get to Menards before they're gone. In-store only while supplies last.
Save big money at Menards.
Listen at home with your Amazon smart speaker. Alexa, play WMAY 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's news and talk.
Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. Today, mix of light rain and snow for much of the day. Breezy with a high near 35, low tonight around 23. Tomorrow, cloudy with a high near 29, low around 19. Friday, mostly cloudy and breezy with a high near 41, low around 27. Saturday, mostly cloudy with a high near 43, low around 22. Sunday, mostly cloudy with a high near 28. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
Weather sponsored by Lauterbach Tire and Auto, home of Stage 2 service. Drive safely now.
How would you like to work for the area's premier multimedia marketing and advertising company right here in Springfield? Well, here's your opportunity. At Midwest Family, we're looking for talented and dynamic account executives who thrive in a fast-paced working environment. Those who are passionate, self-motivated, goal-oriented, and highly competitive. Are you a problem solver with great communication skills? Do you have a grasp on today's digital media? And do you have the ability to cultivate lasting relationships and partnerships? If this sounds like this is for you, apply online today at MidwestFamilySPI.com and click on our careers tab. At Midwest Family Springfield, we offer unique sales career opportunities where you're given a challenging mission, world-class tools like HubSpot CRM, ongoing training, and the chance to realize your full potential as a marketing and advertising sales professional. This is Rob Zavitka, Director of Sales and Business Development Manager at Midwest Family Springfield. Are you my next candidate? If so, please apply online today at MidwestFamilySPI.com and click on the Careers tab. Midwest Family is an equal opportunity employer.
Register today for the Lincoln Presidential Half Marathon. Run where Lincoln walked. Take to the streets on Saturday, April 1st. Your run begins and ends downtown with an amazing post-race party on Adams Street between 4th and 5th, featuring Buzz Bomb Brewery, Cafe Moxo, and Kidsium. Want to help keep the course safe or keep our runners hydrated? Volunteer opportunities are available as well. The Lincoln Presidential Half Marathon, Saturday, April 1st. Register today at lincolnhalf.com.
Start the new year off with a bang at Hendricks Home Furnishings going on now. Take up to 30% off tag sale prices on all in-stock Lazy Boy furniture. That's right, up to 30% off of Hendricks' already discounted sale prices, not from MSRP or list prices like the other stores. In stock and ready for delivery only at Central Illinois' go-to store for Lazy Boy deals. Family-owned Hendricks Home Furnishings, delivering fine furniture since 1949 on Route 4 in Verdon.
92.7 WMAY.
Springfield's news and talk.
A headline in the newspaper this morning about the war in Ukraine. It says officials ousted in Ukraine corruption scandal. And the sub-headline is U.S. poised to approve sending Abrams tanks. Kind of gives you a bit of a sense of what in the world's going on over in Ukraine. You can, of course, hear a lot more about that with all the programming on WMAY throughout the day, including with Brian Kilmeade right at 9 o'clock, Clay Travis and Buck Sexton from 11 to 2, The Dana Show from 2 to 4. Then we get Springfield's afternoon news with Jim Leach and more. But that's just one issue that could be essentially propelling the doomsday clock to advance closer to midnight. This is from yesterday, where the scientists, so-called, got together and they had a nice little presentation about the doomsday clock and what exactly is going on with where we're at on closer to midnight and the possibility of, Armageddon.
The members of the Science and Security Board moved the hands of the doomsday clock forward, largely, though not exclusively, because of the mounting dangers in the war in Ukraine. We moved the clock forward the closest it has ever been to midnight. It is now 90 seconds to midnight.
Oh my gosh. A minute and a half?
Russia's thinly veiled threats to use nuclear weapons remind the world that escalation of the conflict by accident, intention, or miscalculation is a terrible risk. The possibilities that the conflict could spin out of anyone's control remains high.
3 years ago, in January 2020, like you, Rachel, I stood here when the hands of the clock were moved to 100 seconds to midnight. I said at that time, we are faced by a gathering storm of extinction-level consequences, and time is running out. Little did I know then that the gathering storm of threats would also include the devastating COVID-19 pandemic, the consequences of which we're still facing today, and the illegal invasion of a sovereign state by a nuclear-armed permanent member of the UN Security Council. This, together with the acceleration of the climate crisis, explains why the clock has now been moved even closer to midnight.
So again, it's no longer 2 minutes to midnight. Now it's 90 seconds to midnight for reasons added, the war in Ukraine, the COVID conflict or COVID situation, climate change, all of these things apparently making people even more, trigger itchy when it comes to their hands on the nuclear bombs. Get your thoughts on that real quick. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Good morning, Bishop. Just so the world knows, the doomsday clock is always 120 seconds away from midnight.
Well,
that would be 2 minutes to midnight.
Yeah, I would venture to say that people always talk about the apocalypse. The apocalypse is here. Even some cults will actually give you a specific date of when the apocalypse is going to happen.
Yeah, but
for me, I think the apocalypse is a constant. It's always there. It's always eerily over us, and it's just something that is a human condition, quite frankly.
Bruce Dickinson from the ever so popular metal band Iron Maiden told us in the 80s that it's always 2 minutes to midnight, Bishop. Let's get real.
I got you. I appreciate the call. 217-629-7970. But according to those scientists, it's no longer 2 minutes to midnight. It's now 90 seconds to midnight. Exactly how fast those seconds go by, I guess, depends on how much COVID there is, or how much Abrams tanks are in the Ukrainian area, or how much officials are ousted from corruption scandals and so on. But something else too that could be furthering the problems with the ongoing situation of our doomsday clock, debt. And you've got the Treasury taking some more action to try to deal with the debt limit after Congress continues to toil over what exactly to do there. But Congress not just toiling over that, you've got a lot of fingers being pointed as Republicans took over the U.S. House, and the new U.S. House Speaker, Kevin McCarthy, he's blocking some individuals from certain committees. While the Democrats say there's no precedent for this, there absolutely is precedent for this. We saw it with the January 6th Commission, that the committee that, you had several Republicans that were appointed by Republican leaders to be on that committee, but you had Nancy Pelosi, the then House Speaker, block that from happening. And choosing who's going to be on that committee. We saw just how politicized that committee got over the time that it was in existence. But Kevin McCarthy blocking Adam Schiff, a Democrat from California, from being on the Intelligence Committee. And some Democrats not too happy about that. Members of the press getting a little combative with McCarthy yesterday, and after going back and forth saying he respectfully will address your question, you just got to let him answer the question, he then went to answer that question.
No, let's answer her question. You just raised a question. I'm going to be very clear with you. The Intel Committee is different. You know why? Because what happens in the Intel Committee, you don't know. What happens in the Intel Committee, although the secrets are going on in the world, other members of Congress don't know. What did Adam Schiff do as the chairman of the Intel Committee? What Adam Schiff did, use his power as a chairman and lie to the American public. Even the Inspector General said it. When Devin Nunes put out a memo, he said it was false. When we had a laptop, he used it before an election to be politics and say that it was false and said it was the Russians. When he knew different, when he knew the intel, if you talk to John Radcliffe, DNI, he came out ahead of time and says there's no intel to prove that, and he used his position as chairman, knowing he has information the rest of America does not, and lied to the American public. When a whistleblower came forward, he said he did not know the individual, even though his staff had met with him and set it up. So no, he does not have a right to sit on that. But I will not be like Democrats and play politics with these, where they removed Republicans from committees and all committees. So yes, he can serve on a committee, but he will not serve on intel, because it goes to the national security of America. And I will always put them first, all right? And if you want to talk about Swalwell, let's talk about Swalwell, because you have not had the briefing that I had. I had the briefing and Nancy Pelosi had the briefing from the FBI. The FBI never came before this Congress to tell the leadership of this Congress that Eric Swalwell had a problem with a Chinese spy until he served on intel. So it wasn't just us who were concerned about it. The FBI was concerned about putting a member of Congress on the Intel Committee that has the rights to see things that others don't because of his knowledge and relationship with a Chinese spy.
So again, that's Kevin McCarthy sounding off on why he's not letting some prominent Democrats get on to certain committees, including Adam Schiff, saying that he lied to the American public for political purposes, having behind-the-scenes information, and Eric Swalwell not being able to be on a certain committee because of being compromised by a Chinese spy. But, hey, it's politics, right? One last call here. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Morning, Greg. Hey, kudos to him, man. First off, put the press in their freaking place, especially whenever they're always combatant. Now, you are a different story. You just want to get down to the nitty-gritty.
I think all media should be in a adversarial position because the politicians lie, elected officials lie, and tough questions need to be asked. You shouldn't go into stuff doing patty cake questions.
Oh, no, absolutely. But I just want to make sure that present company is excluded because you, no matter who they are, you're going to grill them. And
Well,
that's
and I'll ask,
perfectly
you know,
fine.
like with Wake, Illinois earlier this morning, when we talked about them being blocked from a venue because the venue said they were getting threats. I asked for a response to the other side that says that, it was threatening for them to target drag shows for kids. And, it's important that you hear all of this and all of these questions. But, too often I think that, you do have partisan points and partisan perspectives, especially in the corporate media, where it doesn't just seem to be about Democrat versus Republican. It seems more to be about maintaining the establishment over, grassroots. So, hey, I appreciate the call. I got to take a break and wrap things up on WMAY. It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop. Follow along on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube. Just search Bishop on Air, and we can connect that way. Got business in the 217 coming your way next now. It's 8:20 from Culver's West on Wabash.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions, and did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
A new start. For many of us, all we want right now is a new start. If plans for your new start include starting or growing your own business, you can get the help you need from the Illinois Small Business Development Center for Central Illinois. The Illinois SBDC provides professional guidance for business growth. So, when you need help creating a business plan to get a loan, are looking for ways to grow or save your existing business, or are wondering how you can move your startup dreams to reality, you can go to the Illinois SBDC for help. Since the Illinois SBDC is a partnership of the U.S. Small Business Administration, Illinois Department of Commerce, and our local supporters, you can get the help you need at no charge. We're getting a new start too. So find us on the web to get started with an appointment with one of the professional advisors at the Illinois SBDC, the Illinois Small Business Development Center for Central Illinois. It's where to go when you need a new start for your business.
Less hassle, more travel. We've got connections, Springfield to Dallas to anywhere. The Abraham Lincoln Capital Airport remains open for you. Your hometown airport is committed to providing a safe, clean, and healthy travel experience. Security lines are short, parking is always free, and customer service is a top priority. Book your next American Airlines flight from SPI at aa.com. Fly local, fly SPI.
Take the easy way out.
You will sleep better this year. You will sleep better this year. You will sleep better this year as long as you get to Just Beds during the store-wide New Year mattress sale. Bemco, Sealy Posturepedic, Chatham & Wells, Arctic Breeze, and Max Life are all on sale. Now that's how you kick off a new year. No more sleepless nights this year. As always, free delivery, setup, and haul away. You will sleep better this year. Just see the Yawn Exterminators at Just Beds on Montvale Drive in Springfield.
Just Beds.
John, the price of groceries is enough to send somebody into a panic mode these days.
Yeah, especially when the refrigerator goes kaput.
Even more so. We got a call from a customer who had that problem with a freezer load of those expensive groceries.
And that'll keep you awake at night just thinking about it.
Right. So, because Dick Van Dyke stocks the 100 most used parts, we were able to send a factory-trained tech out to her place to fix the problem before she lost any of that food.
And he wasn't some subcontractor either.
Trained right here locally by the team of Dick Van Dyke.
You know, one way to fight inflation?
Yep.
Keep from having to buy expensive stuff twice.
Yes, you got that right.
This is Dennis Regan, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store, which means you have the comfort of knowing that if anything goes wrong, we'll make it right. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store. X with a double X battery. Generations of power.
You can jumpstart your car with a device you can hold in your hand. I'm Laurie from Rex Battery, and if you find yourself with a dead battery, the NOCO Genius Boost is all you need. You don't have to wait for a friend to show up, call a tow truck, or hope a stranger has jumper cables. If you have the NOCO Genius Boost, you have the charge you need to get your car going again. One charge can get you as many as 20 jumps. Rex Battery always carries the latest technology, and these small devices pack big power, enough oomph to start your cars, trucks, and even boats. They even have USB ports so you can get your phone powered up if you're stranded. The NOCO Genius Boost. Pick up one today at Rex Battery, Clear Lake, just west of Dirksen.
X with a double X battery.
Anxiety. There's plenty of it to go around for just about everyone these days, but the question is, how are you dealing with it? Anxiety can make things difficult. If you find yourself reaching for drugs or alcohol as the solution, chances are your anxiety has gotten out of control. It's time to pick up the phone and call Gateway Foundation. You'll talk with someone who holds the strictest confidentiality so that you can open up and learn about treatment options. Our team of professional counselors, therapists, psychiatrists, and physicians have a long history of helping people like you get back on track. During the healing process, you'll find that there is nothing to be ashamed of. Calling Gateway Foundation is that important first step towards getting away from the self-medication of alcohol and other substances and on the road towards safe, rewarding, and sustainable recovery. Call Gateway Foundation at 877-505-HOPE for a free, private, confidential screening. Gateway Foundation, addiction medicine saving lives.
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone.
Done.
By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
The WMAY Daily Poll, available at WMAY.com/poll, asks the question, should Springfield ban the motorized surfboards on Lake Springfield? So right now, looks like most of you saying a no, they should not ban those. Again, go vote at WMAY.com/poll. The question, should Springfield ban the use of motorized surfboards on Lake Springfield? 72% of you say no. You can sound off at WMAY.com/poll. It is the Daily Poll.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop. Listen on demand at WMAY.com. 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's News and Talk.
Let's get now to the latest in the business community, all the things you need to know each and every week. We connect with Springfield Business Journal publisher Michelle Ownby for Business in the 217. Michelle, thanks for taking time as always, and let's get right into it. Longtime restaurateurs Chris and Vic, they are looking at a new venture. What's going on with Kiefner's space?
Yes, so I had a chance to chat with Chris Hankin and Vic Lanzotti yesterday, both very familiar names in the Springfield dining scene. They've been around for a long time, and they have leased the former Kiefner space to launch their latest venture. Still a lot of details to be finalized. They don't even have a name at this point, but they say it's going to be a very different concept than anything they've done before. They are going to have a small dining area for people who want to eat on the premises. So in that sense, it's a restaurant, but not in the traditional sense of having somebody that greets you and shows you to your table and servers and all that type of thing. But it's also going to incorporate a deli. They'll have a lot of take-home items, some imported goods and things that you don't find in a traditional grocery store. They're going to do some home meal replacement items. You know, they said really they've kind of seen this evolution back from the days when they had Sebastian's downtown, which was a higher-end dining experience. People are moving more towards the convenience factor, wanting things that they can grab and go or take home and cook themselves. So you'll have the option of dining in, but you'll also have the option of purchasing a lot of the same ingredients and being able to take it home and prepare it at your own convenience as well. So they are shooting for an opening sometime this spring.
Well, I'm sure we'll hear a lot more about that, and it sounds like the concept is going to be something people are going to be interested in, so some good sizzle with that tease there. So looking forward to that. But also you've got Bloom Wine Bar and Florals. What is that all about?
Yes, also a little bit of a different concept. Of course, we have one wine bar downtown. Ad Astra opened not too long ago, but this is mixing things up a little bit. They are going to have a full-service floral shop and also be offering up the space for event rentals. It's three friends, Brittany Robinson, Hannah Goss, and Caitlin Becker, and they originally were thinking about an event planning business and having a space to offer for rentals for smaller gatherings because they were already helping out with weddings and other types of private events. But they decided to sort of combine all their shared interests, and so now they are going to have this wine bar. They'll also serve some food, just appetizers and that sort of thing. And then you can either come in and purchase pre-made floral arrangements, or they're even going to have custom services for special events. They're going to have classes if you're interested in learning floral design yourself. So a little bit of everything there. And they are going to be right there on the Old State Capitol Plaza, number 2 Old State Capitol Plaza. It was previously a T-shirt company, and they're shooting for an early April opening for that.
Very much looking forward to that. It sounds like a wonderful type of date night of sorts. So pretty cool. Bloom Wine Bar and Florals. We'll talk about an upcoming forum here in just a moment, Michelle, but tell people about the new edition of the Springfield Business Journal out now.
Yes, it's actually coming out today. The focus is on commercial construction and development. So we have updates on various projects around town and looking at the trends in the industry. Hint, not necessarily great right now between the rising interest rates and the inflation. The real estate market is definitely cooling off from the peak that we saw last year, but still a lot of big projects in the works. So if you want to keep up with what's going on, you can get on our website at springfieldbusinessjournal.com and sign up for BizBites. That's the digital newsletter that comes out every Wednesday, and that's free of charge. Or, of course, you can also sign up to get the print edition delivered directly to your home or office.
Yeah, so definitely pick that up, and you'll learn more about how interest rates are impacting construction and business, because I know interest rates are definitely impacting the farming community as well. So we'll see how that plays out in the months ahead. But, of course, with the ever-evolving landscape of elections, seems like we have them every other month, but after November's election, we've got the municipal elections in just a handful of months, and you guys are actually joining up with several others to bring about a mayoral forum, the first that we're going to have here. Tell us what to expect between incumbent Mayor Jim Langfelder and the challenger, Misty Buscher.
Yeah, so that is taking place tonight at the Hoogland. Doors open at 5. The forum begins at 5:30. I understand Jim Leach is going to be broadcasting that live as part of his show. And we will also be video recording it. We'll put that link up on our website by tomorrow because some people have already said they're not going to be able to attend and want to know if there's a way they can listen in or watch after the fact. And yes, there is. It's going to go on snow or no snow. Hopefully we've missed the worst of the weather. But again, because it will be broadcast live and also taped for future use, regardless of what happens with the snow coming in, we will move forward with that tonight. Bernie Schomburg, the former SJR political reporter, is coming out of retirement to moderate, so we're excited for that. And the audience will have a chance to submit written questions for consideration. So hope to see everybody tonight, questions in hand.
So make that happen tonight, and you'll be able to hear more about it, of course, here on WMAY. So be sure to tune in and be informed as to what's going on. Michelle Ownby, publisher of the Springfield Business Journal, greatly appreciate you taking the time with us each and every week here on WMAY.
Thanks, Greg.
All right, I did not get a chance to talk about the Vice President, Mike Pence, the former Vice President, being found with classified documents. What does this have to say about the classified documents hubbub that everybody was freaking out about with Donald Trump? Is it going to downplay it some, because Biden was found with even more classified documents that were even older that he didn't have the ability to declassify? So obviously we'll see that story evolve over the next 24 hours, and we may carve some time out tomorrow to talk about yet even more classified. Do we have a problem with classified documents being in the wrong hands, or do we have a problem with too many documents being classified from your watchful eyes as taxpayers paying the bill for government? Interesting stuff. We didn't get a chance to talk about that today, so maybe we'll have to take a bite out of that sometime here in the future. That's all I got for you. You got full disclosure, the Better Government Association coming your way next.